Muy buenas chavales, bienvenidos y bienvenidas a otro vídeo para el canal. ¿Qué tal están chicos? ¿Qué tal ese fin de semana ricolino? Espero que hayáis disfrutado del fin de, que hayáis descansado la mayoría de vosotros, si os hayáis trabajado, que ahora mismo en esta semana descanséis al menos un poquito. Y nada, por fin volvemos a la DBD League. Y bueno, si estáis comiendo, cenando, almorzando, desayunando, merendando, que os aproveche mucho esa Jami, como siempre intento decir, que muchas veces se me olvida por ser mental. Nada, que os disfrutéis de la Jami. Y nada, eso, por fin volvemos a la DVD League. No subí a DVD League desde finales de julio, ya sabéis que agosto me lo tomé de vacaciones para descansar también de YouTube, que pese a que me encante, necesitaba el descanso para dedicárselo a mi hija y a mi mujer. Así que nada, vimos tanto este Season 10 semana 1 día 1 como este Season 10 semana 1 día 2. No sé por qué, no sé si es que no lo han puesto en destacados, no estoy seguro, pero de repente pasa de la semana 1 día 2 a la semana 3 día 2. Entonces entiendo que la semana 3 día 1 se ha perdido y la semana 2 también se ha perdido, o a lo mejor es que no ha habido partidos la semana 2. No lo sé, pero bueno, yo por desgracia, eso, ya son directos de hace 4 meses, 3 meses, entonces solo puedo verlo de los destacados. Para haberlo visto todo, hubiese necesitado descargarlos en su día. Así que nada, como no puedo volver en el tiempo atrás, es lo que hay. Igualmente no sirve, no pasa nada por habernos perdido algún día de partidas, porque al fin y al cabo vamos a conocer a los equipos igualmente, al menos a los mejores equipos. Vamos a conocerles antes de llegar a la fase final del torneo. Que bueno, ya se celebró la final, ya se sabe el campeón, yo no lo sé. Yo sé quién llega a la final, ¿vale? Porque me he hecho spoilers sin querer, pero no sé quién gana, ¿vale? Eso sí que no tengo ni puta idea. Así que nada, vamos a ir a la semana 3 día 2 y que lo tengo ya aquí el partidito entre, que lo habéis visto en el título, Invictus contra Sinners. Yo sé que para mí Invictus es uno de los mejores equipos que hay. Básicamente porque está Pedro, que básicamente que relea las partidas él solo, por así decirlo. Bueno, y aparte de sus compañeros, que buenísimo el WhatsApp. Eh, y nada, que tienen a Dan, Speed, que son bestias literalmente supervivientes. Y juega contra Sinners, ¿vale? Que es el equipo de Jason, ¿vale? Un buen, vamos, un equipazo, básicamente. Así que nada, vamos a ver, no os voy a decir cuántas, sabéis que es el mejor de tres, quien gane 3 rondas gana vamos, gana el partido, sí, iba a decir la partida, pero no, la partida no. El partido lo gana quien llegue a 3 y ya está. Es decir, que máximo vamos a ver 5 partidas, ¿vale? Porque quedarían 3-2. Así que nada, ojalá haya 4 partidas, ojalá que no sea un 3-0 y mínimo 4 partidas, por favor. Así que nada, yo no voy a decir nada, ya sé cuántas, cómo quedan y todo, pero vamos a lío. Ya os digo que hay killers muy fuertes, ¿vale? Empezamos por Drácula, killer tier S, pero ya os digo que la mayoría de killers que vamos a ver son muy fuertes, así que vamos a ver un alto nivel, eso segurísimo. Vale, intervención corrupta, pim pam pum, gancho flagelante, erupción. Las cosas más fuertes que hay en el meta, obviamente, de motores. 3 de ellas las van a nerfear. Y nada, Drácula no necesita ninguna ayuda en Chase, nada de nada, solo necesita perder motores para hacer cuelgues y bajar motores. Así que muy buena elección. Y nada, lleva lo del huevo para cerrar las ventanas, un addon que también van a nerfear para cerrar las ventanas cuando te teleportas con el murciélago. Así que nada, a ver qué tal.
There we are, with Jason already in bad form. That is an interesting corrupt over here on the bottom right of the map.
Ya sabéis que suelen empezar en forma murciélago para ir lo más rápido a la otra parte del mapa y luego se ponen en forma lobo para, obviamente, ver a los supervivientes y aparte ver los orbes.
We see corrupt being brought, pain res, pop, and eruption.
Los orbes, si os fijáis, quedan como un hilito, ¿vale? Está el orbe y luego un hilito. El hilito es en el sentido en el que se ha ido el superviviente, ¿vale?
4 of the probably most popular perks on them. I see a pallet being dropped over there, the NA ping. Actually, South American ping is really saying its place. We are going into
Muy buen sprint.
the vampire form. Again, back to wolf form, going for a dash, going for the second one, hits the locker, and Trevor makes the pallet splits.
Y ya está.
Will be jumping over here, doesn't seem so.
Muy buen midgame, mira para atrás para que no sepa exactamente por dónde le viene y pum, hacia tal y perfecto.
He seems to take the first hit and going to the shack.
Yeah, that first hit coming in ridiculously early. Jason was very successful there, scouting the map, and there's some luck involved always, of course, and some serious game knowledge knowing where these survivors spawn.
Va a la esquina porque sabe que ahí también iba a llevarse el hit y mejora la esquina para que tenga el gancho para adelante lo más lejos posible y aparte el centro del mapa y sus compañeros que estaban reparando.
Exactly. Spit's going down here ridiculously early. I'm pretty sure you wanted to run away as far away as possible from Shaq there, or get as far into...
Vamos a ver, Kexo Invictus, 7 partidas y se ha escapado casi siempre. Y ha sido tirado 2 veces en una solo y se ha escapado un 71% de las veces, o sea, la mayoría.
The corner as possible to not grant Jason one of those more
Normalmente llega a 2 states.
central hooks that he could easily play around, as well as the
Estas estadísticas están muy chulas, la verdad.
10 generators simultaneously, and we get that first pain resonance
Ha utilizado gancho para adelante.
hitting. Most likely going to play around that pain resonance for, yeah, the early game to protect himself from being gen rushed early on, and then we'd see that eruption, and up goes the weasel for the later stages of the trial to secure his 3 gen.
Vale, le han metido el por los demás de una. Bien hecho.
And hopefully even get up to 4K, which we have seen before on this map, so I know Ratchet Chop is difficult for the killer, given its size. Probably Jason might.
Muy bien, pilla full W a una zona que sea mejor. Aquí tirará el pared, vale, seguro, y se va a tirar hacia la izquierda. Porque utilizar el men, que es seguro.
Everybody wrong tonight. Got that second hit onto Dan already.
Ah, pues no.
Ready too. Got an
Claro, no lo hace porque es tener la forma murciélago. Si fuese un killer más mal, tiraría esa pared y tal. Pero como es forma murciélago, no gana nada tirando esa pared, nada, porque el murciélago pasa por encima, básicamente.
lot of pressure here.
Yeah, he does, honestly. We've seen that FTP from Pedro on the survivor. That
No puedes hacer nada ahí, nada, literalmente.
was needed. We see that dash and the down on Dan. There was no pop usage, but now we will have eruption on the generator. As a killer main, I would really love to see multiple 4Ks. So you can definitely understand me, Matis. As you said earlier, the first down was very
Gancho para adelante, muy bien.
quick. It was 49 seconds. That is way
Entonces Jason, perfecto la partida, lo está haciendo perfecto.
under average. But still, I trust Invictus to do a very good job. We have the hook. We have the second player as being used. Teleport on Shaq. Can we have any progression on this generator? We see scratch marks and we kick to pop eruption. They're gonna reverse the generator very long. However, we don't commit to the survivor. We're expecting apparently a save that might not.
Ya sabéis que erupción es una perk que ayuda mucho o sea, favorece mucho el túnel porque te lo bajan del gancho, está herido y tú tienes que tener un hit para que erupción se produzca. Entonces, esta perk ayuda mucho al túnel.
Happened. We just might have missed
Bueno, ayuda no, o sea, te da algo muy bueno por tunelear.
calculator a little bit with the game sense. Survivor is back on generator. What do you think is gonna happen, Matis? Will they pull?
I think based on the perks that Jason is also using, he's going for splitting stages at the start. So I'm surprised even that he's committing to securing the second stage here. Maybe he feels like he's got enough momentum, and at the
Vale, obviamente por hacer esto está vendiendo 2 motores mínimo.
moment they've got 2 generators at the 50%
Pero le sale a cuenta, 2 motores en cambio de que dan baje al segundo stage sale a cuenta.
mark that I doubt they'll try, or they'll abandon anytime soon. We might still have a third person lurking somewhere with a cheeky sprint burst, because that's usually the strategy that I know Dan for at least, but he is the one on hook at the moment. Yeah, he's not the sprint burst player. It is Spitz. Yeah, I think, no, doesn't look like it. They're just sticking to all of these. A 3v1 deny, much value from that pain resonance, but now Jason has got a potential tunnel out. And if anybody watched the games yesterday, you know a 3v1 is 1,000 times better than having 8 stages, 4 survivors still standing in the game. Once the 3v1 is enforced, it is such a disadvantage for the survivors. What do you think about that?
It is a very interesting situation. We see the save going on. We see the Hellfire being pulled. That is a
Uy, ha fallado el ataque a Dan, porque si os fijáis no tiene la herida profunda. Aquí ha fallado Jason. Ha fallado nada, 2 décimas de timing.
no, that is not a double hit. Only a hit on Spitz.
Almost.
Now Dan is being on a chase on the a very strong tile and
No, todavía tenía tiempo prestado. ¿Veis? Sí, ya habría caído. Porque digamos que si Drácula está cerca del gancho, es tremendamente difícil proteger al que sale del gancho. Porque mete el fuego, te hieres tú y se hiera el del gancho. Pero aquí ha fallado Jason por 2 décimas. Y parece no, pero es un fallo grande, porque si no ya Dan estaría en el suelo, muerto, y le van a hacer un motor más.
That's the hit on the borrow time. Still another jab popping up. Even though there are still 3 generators left in the game. Oh, never mind. Caster Scars, as you guys say always, Caster Scars. Wolfram again. We Jason kinda lost Dan a little bit. There is Spitz with a free hit. Yeah,
Se ha equivocado de target. Se le ha ido Dan, se le ha ido.
I think that was actually a good play. He's trying to get
Se le ha ido.
Jason off Dan.
¿Veis? Parece que es una tontería, pero el haber fallado en eso del gancho, ya ha tomado por culo. Dan se ha librado ya.
So that tunnel doesn't happen.
Y esto ya es un fallo para perder la partida. Esto ya es un fallo muy grande. A su nivel es un fallo muy grande.
However, we Jason reads him perfectly like a book and tries to find out. Dan once again for
Se ha dedicado a campear, ha intentado tunelear y lo ha hecho mal. Pues adiós la
the
partida.
tunnel out. Doesn't seem to have too much luck. He could be in a locker, he could be
4 supervivientes y 2 motores. Estás jodido ya, la partida entera.
in basement, he could be on the edge of the map.
He could be behind you. Might be hiding behind your chairs, Flips. You should turn around. But yeah, that was a pretty big failure there by Jason, not being able to find
No, aquí no puedes tirar el fuego, te la juegas muchísimo.
Dan after he was unhooked, and very obvious bait also by Spitz jumping in and out of that locker, causing those loud noise notifications to distract him, and it actually succeeded. Dan is still nowhere to be seen. Wow, yeah. Jason had to
Estoy intentando encontrar a Dan, pero no va a poder.
have got that tunnel out, because now he's at a big disadvantage. I can imagine Dan is still just hiding edge map somewhere. Yeah, exactly. Not risking being tunneled out, because now what Jason is probably doing is just scouting the map. He might see a healthy survivor or two, but just completely disregard them and hoping he finds the end of Dan. He actually just walked past them as well. He was hiding in that. Oh, he's actually getting closer here because
Está por aquí, Dan estaba por aquí, porque su oficina estaba detrás de esta
Dan
roca.
did see Dan hide in this area. Will he find them?
That is a very good question.
Qué buen olfato tiene Jason, pero no lo va a encontrar.
Like Dan did again the Houdini tech where he just simply disappears, vanishing in the environment.
Houdini Tet.
We Jason starts to be nervous over here.
Yeah, I can't see him.
We can definitely determine that. However, we have 3 other survivors that are basically
Voluntad de hierro aquí le ayuda mucho.
working on the generators, they're looking for your tunnel out. You're not really sure if you're gonna find it or not. There's the heartbeat for Dan. He's still walking with fixated, which is helping him to get some distance. And we'll start the chase
Muy buena aquí.
with another survivor. That Hellfire was a beautiful hit on Pedro. Pedro now might have some issues as he only has the TL wall. And we have the wall form with the high ping. Edge map filler.
Muy buena.
And that was a beautiful down with the Hellfire. Good job by Jason. Pedro also had a good dying spot. Another generator is being popped. What do you think, Matis?
Yeah, I think this is just textbook Invictus play because again they show they are well, as we know with formerly known as Eterna, they were always known to have the strongest survivor side, and again the statistics back me up here and saying this. Invictus again, the first down time doesn't matter. They are by far not the best in that regard, but location matters and strategy matters because right now again we saw Dan go
El Dan sigue herido,
down
¿sabes?
ridiculously early in this game, but we're still only looking at 3 stages and 4 generators done, and in comparison, that
Pedro se ha usado la liberación.
is ridiculously good for Invictus right
Uy, le he encontrado,
now. Considering Dan could have been eliminated from the trial very early,
No, por poco, por nada, por 2 décimas de segundo.
he finally finds them hiding away here. So I believe what happened here is because Jason ultimately, he's trying to fake this here. You know what, let's pay attention to the chase first before I get into the details of my analysis there. Where they pop the
Muy bien aquí los compañeros. ¿Que vas a por Dan? Vale, yo...
generator even. Dan wastes time successfully
Y Dan se ha curado en movimiento.
and gets the adrenaline. There's absolutely
Haga con adrenalina, calla, con adrenalina, cierto, cierto.
no way. What is that hit? He's
Muy bien aquí, compañeros de motor, te damos adrenalina, te curas, tal, no sé qué. Y no se da cuenta ya. Porque ya matar a Dan, cuando ya te han hecho todos los motores, no te se da cuenta. Prefieres ahí, por ejemplo, ir a por Kexo, aquí muy bien Jason, ir a por Kexo que tiene 0 cuelgues y te va a puntuar más para el equipo, para tu equipo.
obviously trying to go for Kexo here because he offers 3 fresh stages instead of that injured Pedro, who would only offer another 2 as
Claro, lo que dice el comentarista, que obviamente le sale más a cuenta ir a por Kexo, que tiene 3 fresh stages en plan que tiene 3 estados de cuelgue en plan para él, en vez de Dan, que moriría y no gana solo uno.
Had already been hooked previously, and we Jason is successful in that department, but slips. That's 6 stages if he dies on hook.
Lo podrían haber hecho un poquito mejor, pero se la juegan es dejar el motor al 99, en plan a un hilo, que tire a Dan, que lo tire en plan, lo tire y le meten la adrenalina. Entonces Dan saldría correteado pero herido y en este caso Kixo, que tiene 0 cuelgues, tendría más tiempo para dirigirse a otro sitio. ¿Sabéis? Ahí lo podrían haber hecho un pelín mejor, pero vamos, que también está muy bien así.
That's right. If he dies on hook, he has done better.
Vale, va a van a intentar.
And also slightly better than what I thought.
Pero es muy arriesgado, ya os digo, porque con el lanzallamas que yo digo lo tenéis muy difícil para hacer un intercambio bueno.
But still, going up against
Bueno, para hacer, mejor dicho, un descuelgue seguro.
probably Nightlight and Dracula, that is going to be one hell of a tough resort
Cagada, solo descuelgan.
to overcome. Because 7 stages can fly
Aquí cagada y son grandísimos.
by if you play Dracula. We do
Tiene caída.
get the unhook now, inevitably. And I don't think there's anything. Oh, beautiful balanced landing here. We haven't got anyone to take a hit here, however.
Buenísima aquí.
So, oh, the last pixel there. Yeah, we don't realistically have anyone in position to take that hit. Could have maybe seen a body block there behind the hill, but no one
Claro, hay linterna, hay que tener mucho cuidado.
was in position just yet as we saw Dan on the exit
Muy bien, tiene a Dan en la espalda y lo coge mirando al otro lado. Perfecto.
gate. Kexa will be picked up again, flash.
Por poco,
Quick attempt. Missed it though. But we've got 3 healthy survivors here. They could just take hits.
Muy cercano a la puerta están, yo que se lo salvan.
Or just bomb rush the hook. Oh no, there's a lot of footsteps around. No, they're just gonna bomb rush it after, I feel. Yeah. It's on it.
Buenísimo.
Yeah, the unhook comes out along with the blind.
Yeah.
That is a hit on the survivor as well. He's trying to blind Dracula. There is the hit on Dan with the down, and the 3 survivors will probably just get out. Nancy actually
Bueno, está bien.
is dodging Pedro, my
Dan el mejor porque Dan tiene 2 cuelgues mejor que Kexo o que Pedro que tiene solo
bad.
uno.
And here we come.
Thought he started jumping.
Vale, 6 cuelgues porque han sido 3. No, han sumar
From
3.
Dan.
3. Joder, Borja, no sé sumar. 3, 2, 5, 6, 7. 7, madre mía. Ya os digo, es que soy retrasado. 7 cuelgues, ya os digo. El error garrafal ha sido ese túnel que lo ha hecho mal. Eso ha sido un error garrafal. Si hubiese tuneleado bien, yo os digo perfectamente, se carga a 3. Perfectamente. Pero ha sido una cagada. Vale, siguiente partidita, vamos con Nightlight. ¡Pam! Va con la misma mismos dados, así que
Oh,
para
good to see. With also the exact same build.
As you said,
Aquí tenemos 7 partidas de Drácula, que lo consideran ellos tier 2. Si os fijáis, no lo consideran ni siquiera tier 1, que es tier S. O sea, el tier 1 es tier S y tier 2 es como un tier, básicamente. Se hace por regla general unos 9 cuelgues, le hacen entre 4 y 5 generadores normalmente. Y el freeze down lo hacen en menos de un minuto.
expecting that Nightlight will be able to do more than 6
Por regla
stages.
general, claro.
Also considering now Team Sinners will be on hyping. Nightlight is also a very skilled player on Dracula. We've seen that before, and we already found
Uf, ¿por qué poco,
the survivor that hit with them one switch charge is now in chase. We're on bad form trying to catch up with the survivors. We have Crane over here being dropped. Nightlight breaking the pallet instead of trying to outplay it, going into war form. We bring back the chase to the top side of the map. Nightlight will be
Oh,
confused. We get a vault.
Muy bien
There is
ahí.
no light, no balance landing. Going for the first dash,
No.
second dash.
Ha dudado un poco, pero muy bien switch.
Fighting the window. Unfortunately, Nightlight, the ping is not that high. Now going to Shack. We're gonna have the Shack pallet probably being dropped. Switch Child is greeting. Nightlight is
Muy buen switch de aquí, perfecto.
going for the Hellfire. Beautiful dodge by Switch
Ya
Child.
está.
Now, possibly he wouldn't
Aquí vale, me lo esquivas, pero te has abierto tanto que no llegas a la puerta. Así que aquí era un buen win para Nightlight.
reach the pallet. No, it doesn't. The down happened. It looked a little bit late. It looked a little bit later down than Pit's down. We're gonna have the hook. Hopefully a pain res for Nightlight. Yes, that is a pain res. Now we're gonna be able
Muy bien, menos de un minuto la primera chase. Muy bien.
to interruptions with pop eruption.
Y eso que Switch lo ha hecho bien, o sea, ha esquivado, así que
Yeah, as you pointed out, it's an extra 10 seconds on the clock when we're looking at first down, which I hope they reinvested into generator progress. I'm pretty sure Sweet Child was counting on there being a tile behind Shaq, but was left disappointed as he looked at a very sexy dead zone. And then he realized last second, yeah, okay, I'm not reaching Shaq Pellet. I'm just going to do a hard right turn to get an extra 1 or 2 meters away from the hook that Nightlight would have to waste, carrying him over. And we are looking at quite the predicament. A hook on the hill against Dracula to get...
Ya sabéis que lo de siempre, cuando hay un primer cuelgue muy rápido, les interesa campear hasta el segundo cuelgue. Esto es casi siempre es igual. Ahora se dedica a meter patadas para tener erupción y chimput.
That know a little bit about.
Veis, 2 segundos stage y ya se van del gancho, pero luego volverá para meter el túnel. Es la manera más efectiva de jugar.
Dracula, they know you can 2-tap with that. We see the first generator going on. We see another generator on top side of the map being very progressed health.
Qué buena, brutal, ese cambio a la derecha justo ahí, perfecto.
Fire going through the wall, double! Actually hitting Bucky once through the wall. We're going with the wall form.
Aquí muy mal de reflejos, fatal Bucky, esto era paletazo.
Drop, pellet dropped and getting stunned on the same side with
Vale, le ha metido él por los demás, aquí Jason, muy bien hecho.
the down. Unfortunately for Bucky, that thing destroyed his chase a little
Buah, este cuelgue les va a joder por el gancho flagelante y tendrá pim pam pum para otro juego.
bit. Is also next to a very progress generator that can be popped and eruption.
Ahí está.
Nightlight can regress the very much out of it. Actually, he managed to regress it with Perez, which means he's gonna be able to pop eruption, a different generator, which is gonna bring even more.
Qué gancho flagelante y qué pim pam pum, madre mía, esto duele mucho al equipo de seniors.
Pressure, and that's what he's gonna.
Estás hablando de erupción, vale.
Oh wait, are they just sitting? Okay, I was gonna say, why is he not getting the prompt out? They're just sitting on it. But yeah, okay, it's really painful to have
Claro, es que tiene este motor muy avanzado, tal, no sé qué, le interesa mucho estar puestazo.
the same gen pop goes the weasel twice. I know the feeling, and I know exactly what Sinners must be feeling right now.
Les digo, como supervivientes, cuando os campen, tened presente dónde estáis. ¿Estáis cercanos a un motor que está muy avanzado? No es que os esté campeando vosotros, que sí, es que está por el motor, no por el campeo. Está porque hay un motor muy avanzado y se queda ahí porque es lo suyo. Está vigilando un motor muy avanzado y aparte vosotros. Así que cuando caigáis como supervivientes, caer lejos de un motor tan avanzado porque se lo ponéis fácil al kill.
Yeah, Zoob will be reclaiming
Es oferta 2x1 Carrefour.
the generator, but again, Nightlight has already been able to get, how much is that? 40% with the pain resonances, and then another
Sabemos que Jason va a tener liberación, eso es obvio.
50%, well, not, yeah, but progress of 25% more, so not flat 25%, as that's how pop works. But yeah, that just hurts so bad. They've only popped 1 generator, Nightlight's already got 3 stages, probably upcoming 4 if he's going for it.
Veis, muy buen timing, herido y Bucky con herida profunda. Están jodidos.
If you have either of them, Zoob will be able to find the pallet, and Bucky is just... Oh, he's dead meat already. He's a dead man walking, he doesn't...
Se la juega mucho, no se puede tirar el poder. ¿Veis? Y eso lo ha hecho mal en este caso Nightlight. O sea, ha tardado bastante en tirar a Bucky, pero no puede hacer nada. El que va a dejar el gancho. Es fuego y luego un hit normal.
Wow.
Por muy poco, muy poco.
Last sticks of him on the pallet here. But yeah, he's unfortunately stuck in an area of the map where there are hardly any tiles, and the one he ended up reaching is one of the more unsafer tiles. I'll call anything that's not a jungle gym unsafe. So yeah, that's another stage. Another pop goes the weasel. He did just hear... Oh, well, he sees the scratch marks now. So Nightlight...
Si os fijáis, ya hay 2 supervivientes para morir y le han hecho un motor. La partida está prácticamente ganada para Nightlight.
Playing very dynamically, constantly finding these injured players, Zoop vaulting right into him.
Yo ahora me iría a meter un pim pam pum al stack y volvería por este.
Unfortunately, that's the second generator pop, but already getting very close to matching the result from the...
Hace este cuelgue para ir lo más rápido posible al cuelgue de Bucky. Si no, yo os digo, si no, un pim pam pum, vuelves, pero claro, no te da tiempo a todo, es cuelgue y si das simplemente al gancho de Bucky.
Previous trial and profiting so damn well from his perks. It's unbelievable how much pressure he's getting.
That is very correct. And if you're
Si es que es un poco sobre este juego.
paying a little bit of attention, he doesn't even
Sí, es que es un chimpancé jugando, pero conocimiento tengo.
have to use his perks that often, as his downs are so quick, they cannot even do generators. That is crazy, that is wild, and we already have another chase while Two survivors are injured,
hello.
one is hooked. Is this going to be a quick chase? It looks like the survivor is juking a little bit. I'm not sure who is this survivor. The pallet of Shaq will drop, breaking the pallet. We want to make this tile as safe as possible. Baki again in chase. He was the one in chase. He's the tunnel out for Nightline. Nightline knows that. He has another filler, or as you say, the unsafe tile for this ping. That is correct. Maybe our ladder players will contradict you. Maybe they are
Es que no puedes hacer una puta mierda, literalmente.
safe, but
Perfecto jugada aquí por Nightline.
we are 4v1 players, not ladder.
Le ha dejado bien encerrado superviviente y ya está.
That happens. The down is coming. Baki, unfortunately, on his
Veis un down con 3 motores y entonces tenemos a Switcher que también está a cuelgue de down.
last hook, getting sacrificed by Nightlight for the entity. Again in bad form, trying to drop the generator of eruption next to a survivor that vaulted the window. Nightlight doesn't care about the survivor. He's trying to find the injured one.
Hostia, hay 2 motores muy avanzados, sobre todo este.
No, really.
Y eso que ha jugado perfecto en Nightlight, pero para cambiar los motores, ¿cómo se hace?
He's trying to pop as many generators and do maybe a 4k2, because this is a 3v1 situation with not so much gen progression. We have survivor injured, we have another survivor in the chase. Actually, it's the same survivor, Kester's Curse. We have the pellet
Muy buen double back de Zube, pero aquí en Nightlight no se lo ha comido muy bien.
drop, and this might not be safe.
Qué
You know,
aguante,
funny
chaval.
thing is also, I didn't even mean to make a joke on ping when I pointed out that anything
Hostia, qué aguante, hola.
that's not a jungle gym isn't safe, but I love that you interpreted it as such. Makes it even
Muy difícil.
funnier to me.
Y aquí os lugar quizá, no sé.
Yeah, this tile on anything is
No por el pim pam pum.
extremely unsafe. You can play,
Al Wilson si lo tira lo vas a lugar seguro.
not as unsafe as some shorter fillers,
A no ser que necesites mucho gancho flagelante.
but that might actually be the unsafest tile on this map. I'm thinking right now about all the possible tile spawns on this map. Will you disagree? Can you think of any tile that's shorter than that one? I think it's only that main building. You've got 2 pallets on main building, but the other one's a bit more. Yeah, the rock's a bit. Actually,
Ahí os pego a Lucian.
no, that might be unsafe on the other side. Yeah, I'm just brainstorming here live, but yeah. Give me your quick answer to the question at least. So,
Well,
do you think there's any unsafe at all?
Probably
Uf, se le ha ido Jason.
the edge fillers that are specifically
Oh, yeah.
found on Wrecker, since that pallet can be reactable.
Oh yeah, I completely forgot about that. You're completely right. Yeah, I completely disregarded the edge map tiles. But yeah, Nightlight getting another stage onto Zoop. We see the Unknown come in relatively quickly. They do want all of their survivors standing, but again, that also just allows Nightlight to commit to the tunnel quicker. Oh, he's...
Muy buena.
Yeah, okay, I was gonna say, Zoop is deciding to juke on the... on the eye filler in the middle of the map. That's, I hope, what it
Muy bien aquí Jason.
is conventionally called. Jason is the first person to get a stun that didn't end in a hit on the other side in this trial, so big
Ahí ha fallado por un poquito.
ups on
Switcher se mueve muy bien ese chico.
for Mr. Penguin. I'll
No, creo que es paletazo.
elaborate on that later. But yeah, we do see him pick up.
Por poco. Ha estado Jason un poquito lento.
Oh, unfortunate. That's a really risky attempt there. Yeah, when I will just pick up Zoop right in the middle of the map when Jason comes in for that pallet save. That is ridiculously difficult on ping to do, so I'm very impressed he decided to go for it in the first place, and very respectful. But yeah, unfortunately it backfired and he will not be able to get the
El lobo bien jugado es brutal.
rescue and instead pays for it with his own life with Sweet Child, the last man standing. As you said, as you were prophesizing, this might end in a 4K. I don't think there's a way in which
No utiliza el gancho flagelante.
Cinemas are able to avoid this now, with only one person remaining. Nightlight most likely is going to play it safe.
Tiene liberación, eso
They've
sabemos.
returned to his generator to make sure this last generator is not popped.
Oh,
Hello. Okay.
No sé por qué Switcher se ha dejado coger, la verdad. Bueno, me imagino que para intentar, yo qué sé. Jason se va a liberar y voy a intentar escaparse por trampilla.
It seems to me that the wolf is undetectable. So, new update. And now we're looking at his handkerchief.
Vaya bug, tú.
I'm guessing Sweet Child was just really overconfident and overcommitted to that generator. I'm not letting go of my motor. Well, at least in 2016, 2018, you would have some fun killers that would expect it.
¿Jason no tenía liberación? Uy,
they
no sé si
just
podemos
gave
verlo.
up. Maybe Jason wasn't paying attention.
Jason. Ah, pues no lo tenía. ¿Alguien tenía liberación? No, nadie lo tenía. Qué raro que no estén con esa perk, la verdad, es bastante raro. Pues nada, intento hacer el último motor a la desesperada y ya está. En plan, sabía que ahí no podía hacer otra cosa, por eso se quedó en el motor. Pues nada, primer partido para Invictus. Está muy bien, ha jugado una elite brutal y aún así le han cascado casi los 5 motores, ¿eh? Y ha jugado perfecto en una elite, diría. O sea, ha jugado prácticamente perfecto. Así que imaginaros cómo está el percal. Vale, siguiente partidita. Vamos con enfermera. Vale, tier 1, obviamente enfermera. Obviamente, he hecho 4 partidas. Normalmente se ha hecho unos 10 cuelgues y le han hecho 4 motores por la general. Primer down, minuto 18, ¿eh? O sea, imaginaos, es más lenta que Drácula. Me parece bastante curioso, cuanto menos. Ostras, va con esta perk. Qué curioso. Qué curioso.
That perk by the
Vamos a ver qué tal.
Executioner. That is very surprising, to say the least.
Esta perk es para cuando, si no recuerdo mal, ¿vale? Porque esta perk es muy poco usada. Es cuando terminan de curarse, como que no sienten el rollo de terror del killer o algo así era. Es una perk de Pyramid. Vamos a consultarla así rápidamente. Pyramid perks. Creo que era de Pyramid, vamos, si no recuerdo mal. A ver, perks. ¿Dónde están? La encontraremos por aquí. ¿Veis? Aquí está. Death Bound se activa. Claro, cuando un suplente cura al otro, eso me acordaba. Esta perk se activa y era. Causa que. Ah, es verdad. Que chille y revela su localización. Y causa que el que cura sufre estado de eso, de ceguera. En plan, que no siente tu rayo de terror. Whenever day. Cuando esté más lejos de 8 metros del otro superviviente. Me acordaba, vale. Pues me he acordado bien, ¿eh? Y eso que esta perk, os digo, no se usa prácticamente, pero me he acordado. Pues eso es lo que hace. Eso que cuando se terminan de curar, te dice dónde está el que cura. Y encima, el que cura, si se va a 8 metros del que ha sido curado, pierde el rayo de terror completamente. O sea, claro, junto a este addon, el addon morado de la enfermera. Y anda, y lleva este verde, qué curioso. El addon verde este es como vocación de enfermera, pero un nerfeado, ¿vale? Por así decirlo, un nerfeadillo. Y junto a este addon, pierde rayo de terror después de pegar un TP y un hit, ¿vale? Entonces, digamos que con ese addon va muy, pero muy bien. Y nada, va pum, erupción y interacción corrupta. Gancho flagelante, los tier 1 lo tienen prohibido, ¿vale?
Yep, we weren't expecting to see Deathbound from Nihilite. I guess maybe it has its purpose over there. We see pop eruption being brought together.
Okay.
O sea, ¿cuántos segundos ha sido de persecución? ¿15? ¿Cuántos han sido? Es que no, quiero contarlo. Vamos a ver.
A dead perk by the Executioner.
O 20 segundos.
That is very surprising.
Vale, vamos a considerar que empieza aquí, ¿vale? Solo que le ha pillado y tal. 38.
To say the least.
Yep, we weren't expecting to see Deathbound from Nihilite. I guess maybe it has its purpose over there. We see
12 segundos. 12 segundos, tío. La madre que me parió, la.
pop eruption being brought together.
Okay.
Oh, no, oh my! I don't even have words.
Pues
That
nada.
down was so quick.
Esto es una cagada gigante para el equipo de seniors, ¿vale? 12 segundos de chase no es nada, ¿vale?
26 seconds. It is impressive. It is very impressive. We've seen in other games. First down,
brutal.
first hit, even maybe.
Luego, cuando hagáis vosotros, vayáis a pública y si jugáis contra una enfermera y hagáis una chase de 15 segundos, no os sintáis mal. Pensad que la gente profesional, por así decirla, también dura eso. O sea, no os sintáis mal.
The nurse
Oh, yeah.
was only survival for 30 seconds, but they've been looking or trying to actually reach out the survivor for 2 minutes, which is crazy, or at least 1 minute and a half. Very good down by Nihilite. That is gonna go in Opa Gen. That is very low progress just for sake of it, applying eruption. We also see that we're playing undetectable add-on, which is basically making the nurse undetectable for survivors. It's gonna be making the game a little bit more difficult during the blinks. The survivors, if they don't have a good communication, they will end up with a blink on top of their head and a free tag, which is definitely not what you want against nurse. Nurse is a very
¿Cómo le vigila por esta ranurita, eh? O esta ranurita, ¿cómo vigila?
difficult killer. That should be perfect. Pixel perfect, just like this blink
Tío, parece que los blinks de Nelly son más rápidos, tío. Bueno, es misma velocidad de todos.
from Nihilite. Holy, he is surprising us with the blinks. He's just camping the generator now, going back for the pull. Will this be a deliverance? Could be. There is a tag on Jason as well. 3 people injured.
Vale, tiene sprint Bucky.
Zub, he's probably on a generator. We're going with the chase on Shaq.
Vale, Bucky, en el saque está más muerto que por ti contra la enfermera.
Do you think there would be a possibility Bucky
Abajo se ha ido. Bien hecho.
is decisive?
Oh.
Se lo ha adivinado, Se lo ha adivinado, pero no ha tirado el hit porque no se lo esperaba. No se esperaba adivinarlo.
Nice prediction here by Nightlight, knowing immediately that he was gonna go ahead basement. He is going to die. Oh. The eruption. He is going to die on the other side of the window to just waste a bit more time. Also, really want to talk about Deathbound for
DS, muy bien.
because it was buffed a couple patches ago.
Muy bien, muy bien.
So now what it does is whenever a survivor finishes healing another survivor for a health state, perk activates, and then the healer is going to scream and reveal their location.
Aquí le ha salido de puta madre.
And the healer is also going to suffer from
Aquí en el ha fallado,
oblivious when they are further than 4 meters away from the survivor. So practically always. Bucky will be found here very early on after that.
Pues muy bien, Bucky, muy bien ahí.
Decisive strike comes through finally, and he is going to make it to the corner of the map, which is going to buy a good amount of bonus time. Nightlight also playing this very
¿Ves cómo gritan?
textbook. There we have that Deathbound
Pues ahora no se te derrota el killer, ese superviviente.
proc finally. I hope that's going to pay off. It is just again oblivious, similar to the add-on that Nightlight is utilizing. The purple add-on that gives him oblivious after landing a successful
La putada es que Bucky es el de por los demás, así que digamos que están sin esa per durante toda la partida.
blink attack. So yeah, with the strategy that he's doing, typically what Nurse is up doing.
Guau, mira, habéis visto el free que tiene el killer, madre mía.
Again, you want to get that first down as quickly as possible. With Nurse, that's not a super difficult task to get if you're as experienced as Nightlight. And yeah, you go for that hook. You try to find the highest progressed generator.
Brutal como adivina que van a ir hacia la ventana y se anticipa eso. Brutal, nene.
Hopefully get a hit on the survivor that is working on it immediately. Pop the
¿Por qué no la ha tirado? Sube. Ah, Zube tiene que equilibrar hacer.
generator, whatever. Immediate
Y este motor está muy avanzado. Este mismo boom es buenísimo.
immediately head back for the tunnel out. And yeah, Nightlight is showing why Coulter was also so brutally strong, getting that tag onto Zoob. If the Nurse stands in the middle, has a blink charged, he's practically at everywhere in the map at the same time. Nightlight can decide where to go in the blink of an eye.
Es lo que dicen que en el league parece que es Dios, porque está en todo el mapa. Sin estarlo, está. O sea, parece Dios que está en todas partes.
And yeah, we already saw Sweet Child to taste that 24-meter blink at the start of
No, aquí, que cagada en Elite, aquí es cagada.
the trial. Nightlight also
Ah, no, aquí ha fallado aposta. Vale. Ha fallado aposta, ¿sabéis por qué? Porque si le pega a hit, llega el descuelgue. Entonces él quiere estar más cerca todavía, ¿sabéis? Para, digamos, joderlo más. Ha fallado aposta. Vale, yo dije, qué raro.
overestimating his blink there, trying to get an early hit onto Jason, but now he's probably gonna try to overshoot the blink, not even
¿Veis? Para esto. Quiere estar intentando que no lo
gonna
descuelgue.
go for the hit, yeah, instead his body
Qué bueno.
block. Perfectly done. No, he's
Claro, ahí ya no puedo hacer nada, pero lo ha hecho muy bien, Muy bien. Aquí Jason pegándole la vuelta y Nalit muy bien intentando cubrir al
gonna go for it last second. Will be able to get the trade here at least, but Bucky does get off. And he's gonna commit back to that
Ya no hay DS, ya no hay nada.
chase now.
That is correct. Bucky is going once again to the bottom side of the map. He's gonna try to last a little bit. What I see that is very interesting. Bucky is again
Qué bien Bucky, muy bien Bucky.
the tunnel out
Oi!
of Nightlight.
bien.
Beautiful double back into Nightlight. Nightlight barely missing that. Another generator being popped. Another generator being popped. 2 other generators being popped at the same time on the
Muy bien Bucky,
top side of the map. Bucky is doing his best to last. He survived 4 blinks already. That is very good situation. However, that's gonna be his death. Oh my god, Deathbound once again giving some information for Nightlight, which is very good. He knows where he's gonna go after this hook. As I mentioned before, Bucky being once again the tunnel of Nightlight. I think it's purely happening, it's purely coincidence. Bucky was
Pues tenemos 3 motores y... O sea, un motor, 3 motores que quedan partida y 2
just
cuelgues.
the first driver to be
A ver si puede remontar, lo tienen muy difícil.
found. We see some scratch marks going up on the top of the map. However, Nightlight, even though he sees the survivor, decides not to commit. He does a little bit of a prediction and he seems to be committing to one
No.
of the survivors. Do you think he's...
Yeah.
I was just about to ask you.
What do I think, Slips?
What do you think? Do you think he's gonna commit? Apparently not.
Yeah, that was very questionable pathing there by Zoop, just coming at full effort. They're all doing it at the moment.
Muy bien aquí no tirando el TPU, eso es cagada.
I think they're all scared of Deathbell, maybe. They really don't want to risk anything.
Right.
Zoop finally takes that first strike to the back of their head. Yeah, now he's stuck on his foreleg.
Buah, cagada con el primer TP, pero segundo ha sido brillante, brutal aquí en el...
And was, oh, beautiful by Nightlighter blinking into the middle, predicting Zoop's pathing there. But that almost was really good for Zoop because
Claro, y lo va a hacer ganar el trilleno, obviamente.
all lanes are stronger than one might think against Nurse if you're playing them from this angle. Of course, if you're going the long way, then the Nurse has clear line of sight
Este cuadro es muy bueno para Análisis porque está justo en el centro del
on
trilleno.
you. But from that angle, she has to do a lot
Bueno, casi en el centro.
of second guessing behind what wall to blink, and also again needs to have very good control over the blinks to know exactly how far that blink will bring her. Similar hook now to what we had at the start of the trial, and Nightlight gets early vision onto Wee Jason. I hope Sweet Child is working on that generator as fast as possible in the meantime, because yeah, that is already on 50%. Oh, he's actually working on the beside Shack. I was expecting the other one, but it seems like Nightlight has no other option but to. Oh no, here we go. Goes for the.
Un poco de delay ahí, un poco F.
Gets a laggy unhook. Perfect timed unhook, actually. That's a big advantage for them.
Dios, qué buena aquí Jason.
Wee Jason wins the pallet standoff as well. That is ridiculous. That was very well played by him. Also with a very traditional Claudette outfit here. People used to play that back in 2021. Yeah, Nightlight tries to go back for Zoop, but he's just out of range. These survivors have been doing fantastically so far running edge map.
Yeah, it seems like they're a little bit trapped over
Tiene
here on the
agilidad,
bottom
¿vale?
side. Oh, that is probably not good. Switch are vaulting into Nightlight, giving a free hit without the firecracker and gets
Brutal. Los petadores estaban bien, pero los tiraba bastante temprano.
grabbed from the locker. That was
Oh, I
a
hate
good
those.
try. That was a good try, but unfortunately not enough. Nightlight managed. And also keep in mind, accept information, we have the oblivious
Lo vamos a hacer, ¿vale?
status.
Lo he pasado
that is
rápido
going
y
to,
tal.
Give to survivors. We're breaking pallet as Nurse. We're seeing something I wasn't expecting to see this game. We're seeing pallet stands from
Pues en el sótano lo tienen bien jodido para rescatarle. Pero bien jodido además.
Wee Jason. We're seeing Nightlight breaking pallets. This game is at least interesting, isn't it, Madis?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Also, I think it's going to be possible to get that last generator done now that Sweet Child is hooked behind the 3-gen, down in basement. So Nightlight will be very comfortable just holding this one almost bottleneck position, so even though Coulter doesn't have.
Claro, Death Bounce aquí. La Death Bounce, si os fijáis, no es en el número de terror y la enfermedad te papea.
One. Oh, here we see Deathbound coming. Or maybe also, again, Nightlight is very far out of range, so Wee Jason might also just he might also just feel a force to commit to that generator because otherwise they're not getting anything done. Or they do get that unhook successfully at least. Nightlight's gonna blink to the top of the stairs, immediately going for that tunnel out onto Sweet Child that he hopes is gonna.
Claro, es que no se puede hacer una puta mierda. O sea, te veo un de carrera y cuando sales afuera te pega el segundo. O sea, es que no puedes hacer
Run
nada.
right
Whoa.
into him. Beautiful knowledge there. Great intuition
No puedes hacer nada.
by
no.
Nightlight. Just going to wait on that boarded up back window atop the basement stairs. And it pays off. That should be Sweet Child eliminated if I'm not mistaken. Or at least it is going to be a more promising hook right in the middle of this 3-gen that Nightlight is now holding. Doesn't have line of sight behind the logs here though, so that might help tremendously. And then the Deathbound again.
Aquí muy bien, tuve molestando para que Jason haga el motor.
Gonna be really difficult on their survival.
En plan, que vas al motor, vale, yo te descubro.
The Zoop is in position. Really nice fake by Nightlight. Pretending to blink past the logs, but instead just going right back. Wee Jason also
Muy bien adivinada aquí el double back por el pallet.
in position, but he's injured. Yeah.
He tried again a pallet stand onto Nightlight. He was, you fooled me once.
¿Veis? Vocación de enfermera de lado, no lo he dicho. Son menos metros, es vocación de enfermera nerfeada.
Shame to me, you fooled me twice. You're going down. Deathbound with the info. Unfortunately,
Y obviamente va por su chip que ya muere.
Sweet Child
Obviamente.
doesn't last too much. healthy. Nightlight gets the second blink onto him, tries to predict him.
Aquí la ha encerrado al este para encerrar, no para acercar.
Going into Shack, switch out, very good movement over there, going around Shack, going Ashma. We see with Jason being picked up. Nightlight with the first blink, doesn't second
Primer TP mano.
blink. He's a little bit scared that switch out might be making a good pathing over there to go in the distance. Nightlight 2 blinks and gets the down with eruption
No la mata.
on generator. He's gonna slug. He's a little bit scared of doubling. We can see the survivors on the generator now. They are pre-living.
Recordemos que Zube no siente radio de terror ahora mismo, no lo siente.
The call was made. Nightlight will be coming back.
Yeah, that must be a lot of weight coming off his shoulders there the moment he saw wee Jason abandoning that generator, knowing fully well that that can only mean it's not close to popping. Because I feel like popping all 5 gens is a fantastic win condition, considering everything we've seen so far, where it's usually between 4k1, 4k2. But yeah, Nightlight, again, now short.
Muy bien aquí no tirando segundo TP, era muy arriesgado.
Showing off how strong Nurse is in a 3v1, because now he doesn't even need to hook anymore. He can just slug comfortably.
Muy, os fijáis cómo mira un poquito por debajo para pausarse y no ir tan lejos. Nightlight, brutal manejo de la enfermera.
That was
A ver, creo que tiene solo 4.000 horas con la enfermera por ahí. O sea, creo que tiene entre 3.000 y 4.000 horas solo con la enfermera. O sea, todo lo que yo le he jugado al juego, él lo ha jugado con enfermera.
beautiful blink. He guessed
O sea, en fin.
the Zoop's movement. We see the pickup on Sweet Child. Now we're gonna keep the generator with eruption once again. We're getting closer for that generator to not being able to be regressing anymore. Preparing the blink, blinking once, blinking the second time.
Muy bien, Jason aquí.
We miss.
Muy bien.
With Jason this time, he was not trying to stun, he baited into stunning and going edge map. Nightlight might be in a little bit of bad situation over here. Survivors are pressuring his generator. Yes, they are injured, but they are pre-running. As you can see, they are pre-leaving from generators such way they are safer and such way their teammates will be able to put a little bit of more progression into
Brutal pared para bloquear con la enfermera.
that generator. We see Zoop going around. I think Nightlight was maybe expecting a dead hard eruption once again onto the generator. As you said, Matis earlier, for popping 5 generators versus Nurse on this ping as well would be crazy
Este motor hace bastante que no va, este.
good. With this ping, I would honestly expect even worse results from surviving for K2, more K3. It's true that Nurse doesn't, Nurse actually isn't affected to that bad of a ping, but still hitting through 10 walls, it's not that fun.
Yeah, we both speak from experience as well.
Creo que es de 4K, chicos.
But yeah, it's interesting to see how they're positioning themselves, because effectively, Sinner survivors are pre-leaving their generators the moment Nightlight is even on the same continent. And rightfully so, because again, Nurse is so dangerous, especially if you've got a 3-gen like this, because all it takes is 1 blink and you're already back to hugging the next survivor. That is, I was gonna say, on ping we Jason, that is risky. We already saw, and I hate those so much personally, they are near frame perfect. The inputs when you lunge, oh that is beautiful.
Brutal este hit, hola.
For 180 there, right
Whoa.
onto Sweet Child.
Brutal.
Fallen Art-esque blink there on that first. Unfortunately, it wasn't as stylish on that second, but didn't need to be because that hit onto Sweet Child was already secured. But yeah, with those lockers, if you lunge at the exact same time, the person jumps in, it counts as a grab.
Se la jugabais 50-50. Aquí, si lo tiras ahí, aceptas. Si lo tiras atrás, fallas. Es 50-50.
And that is very annoying. Also, really nice hold there by Sweet Child. Not playing around Nightlight potentially corner blinking, not risking that. And yeah, we Jason there, it takes about a second or close or half a second until you're able to jump back out of a locker after you've jumped in. And we saw how badly that just paid back essentially. Unless we Jason was actually trying to get grabbed, which I don't think, because he jumped out as he got grabbed to basically force getting slugged.
Qué buena, adivinando el chungo ahí a Zube perfecto. Buenísimo.
Avoid slugs. Oh, Zoop did actually have the DH as well, so Nightlight waited out, or had the correct idea there, waiting out earlier.
Le hace el TP al cuerpo, aguanta y luego hit.
Zoop unfortunately still doesn't get it this time. I feel like if he had got it here, that would have been huge, and they would have got significant progress on these generators. And again, that death bound is so annoying on Survivor side. That's a smart pick by Nightlight, honestly.
Correct. I think after this game, we're gonna start to see nurses bringing death bound more often in comp. Usually that happens when somebody is playing, doing a good result. He's also in a big league and in this game.
Good
Oh,
Mostly,
coño.
it's very
Ya lo he
impressive
encontrado.
that he's been able to live for so long in this North game. Hello?
Ya está retirado, obviamente, no pueden hacer nada. Flipar, chicos. Esto al principio de la partida es muy aburrido. Estoy completamente de acuerdo con vosotros. Pero una vez mata al primero, le quedan solo 3 motores y tiene a 3 supervivientes con 0 cuelgues, 3 supervivientes con 0 cuelgues, ahí empieza la partida. Y a mí las decisiones que ha tomado y la habilidad que ha demostrado me parece increíble, por eso para mí es uno de los mejores jugadores del mundo. Bueno, personalmente a mí el segundo mejor jugador, bueno, segundo mejor killer del mundo, mejor dicho, ¿vale? Porque jugador engloba todo, tanto la parte de superviviente como la parte de asesino. O sea, ha sido una maravilla. Una vez que ha muerto Bucky y estaban Jason, Tube y Switchir en la partida con 0 cuelgues, Nile tomando decisiones y demostrando mucha habilidad, a mí esto me parece, esto es poesía, literalmente, para mis oídos. Brutal, brutal, la verdad. Vale, pues vamos a la siguiente partidita. La partida ha durado en total 14 minutos, más o menos. Empezó en el 1:12:28 y fijaros, un 26:30. 14 minutos, una barbaridad. Vale, pero todo eso gracias a Nile.
What you have in that.
Pues no tiene. Bueno, puede empatar la partida. Tiene que hacer 4 motores y tiene que hacer 4K, 12 cuelgues. Vale, va con la de Carnicero Chapucero, la donde la aceleración. Y ostras, esta vez no me acuerdo lo que hace. ¿Veis? Esta vez no me acuerdo lo que hace. Vamos a buscarla así rápidamente, ¿vale? Convergente. Calaveras. Perks. Vamos a ver, porque estas perks son tan poco usadas, en competitivo las ves muy de vez en cuando, no me acuerdo lo que hacen. Vale, cada vez que cuelgues a unos supervivientes, la ventaja se activa durante 30 segundos. Por cada distintivo se reduce la velocidad de corazón de los supervivientes en un 5% hasta un máximo de 50. O sea, tiene 10 tokens. Vale. Está bien. Está bien, es como una especie de carnicero, chapucero, o sea, el tema de la aceleración para que se curen más lento. Eso, junto al addon, se van a curar todavía más lento. Está bien, es una perk para que pierdan tiempo y tal. Y guay, solo que esta perk a partir de los 4 cuelgues ya estará bien. Hay un 20% extra de reiniciación, ya a partir de 4 cuelgues ya estará bastante bien la perk. Muy bien, pues mira, esto me encanta el competitivo de que, coño, ves perks que nunca ves, que piensas que es una mierda de perks, hasta que te la saca alguien, en este caso Jason con la enfermera, que es cierto que, oye, va a funcionar bien, eso sin duda.
Early in that matchup a couple
Aunque creo que la Death Bones que ha elegido Elite para mí es mejor. Para mí es mejor.
months ago, with Jason already blinking edge map very early on, hoping to find a survivor crossing from. Usually they spawn right behind main and then they cross to the outskirts of the map. And Blue Jason was essentially
Agilidad, obviamente.
trying to intercept that. Very nice early use of Lithe on that Z-wall there by Spitz. Wants
Muy buen speech, muy bien.
to get as far away as possible from Wee Jason, hoping also to break line of sight immediately. Wow, he's got a lot of distance there. That is impressive. He's probably immediately just going to leave. Yeah, and that's exactly what he does. Does have that corrupt around main.
Más TP.
In. Oh, gets his blink swallowed by logs there.
Más TP.
Unfortunately,
Jason empieza un poco doblado.
he didn't position it quite right. And that's again going to cost him a good amount of momentum early
Muy bien aquí
on,
Jason.
but he does land that early strike onto Dan, thankfully still.
We can get quickly
Brutal, primer TP. Brutal. Increíble.
see that. What? The prediction was crazy.
La predicción fue perfecta.
I think with Jason might have checked a couple of hitboxes matches before this game.
Actually.
That was a beautiful prediction that actually paid off. I was about to say that the Team Invictus identified the 5-gen on top, and so they decided to pick every single chase to bottom. However, with Jason managed to pull that hook on top with a beautiful prediction on Dan. Can we also take a moment and appreciate with Jason's build? I really like the fact that he brought leverage. I really like that perk. It can be played on Blight, Nurse, Spirit. I really love that perk. I would love to see more usage of it, and it seems like with Jason has that idea about how to use it, how to put it into practice.
In order to profit from them, and then people just end up camping and getting zero value from it
Bien.
altogether. We finally see Spitz run in and go for the trade as
Intercambio, perfecto. Esto le sale muy bien al equipo de Invictus, ¿vale? Este intercambio sin quedar llegar al segundo.
he did run in very early, so there's no point for Jason trying to body block that. He will put him to the ground, and it's probably going to be that deliverance, but unless Jason met
Aquí va Jason, O sea, darlo hecho bien por aquí, Jason, man. No te puede... no te va a pelear en esa estructura.
manages to get the down, which he doesn't. And that's going to be deliverance onto Spitz now, so Jason's again going to lose a lot of momentum here. Dan makes it all the way to the other side of the map just because he avoided that one blink attack. Wow, and he's hardly getting any value from that pop eruption now because again, he has to use 2 full blinks if he wants to make it to the other side of the map where the gens are. Getting this hook on the other side of the map is very disadvantageous, and I wouldn't be surprised actually if he abandoned the tunnel altogether.
That is correct. You are very correct, Matis. Well, luckily for Jason, there is a gen with a bit of progression on both. On top of the map, yeah, it's on top of the map.
Han hecho 2 motores ya.
We see
El de camino va el tercero.
Spitz working on another generator, on 2 generators left with
Ahí está el tercer motor.
only 2 hooks as a speed. Dan is getting the kick on a low progress generator for that eruption, going back to Dan. There we see the pull for Dan. Spitz is getting also resetted. There is no FTP. Dan is trying
Hala, Dan, despídete de la partida. 5 estrellas.
to run up the map. Maybe he could potentially last a little bit in this chase. That way, one more generator would be popped.
Aquí se le está jugando mucho con los TPs. Muchísimo. Debería haber asegurarlo más.
Jason's really struggling to get the tunnel out onto Dan. You know, he keeps trying to go back to it, but Dan manages to die
Muy
in
bien.
very promising
Eso es, hay que asegurar los TPs. Ya está, asegurarlo.
positions for Invictus.
Vale.
What is it?
Pues un muerte 2 motores. En principio va mejor que Nelate. Nelate tenía solo un... o sea, le faltaba un motor y eso tiene 2.
Inspire, the opposite of inspire, demotivate. I'm just gonna say demotivate. I think that's a word. I hope it should be. The point of it is to demotivate healing altogether. So instead of survivors staying under the hook and resetting with, let's say, we'll make
Bien.
it,
Muy buen pipampo.
or above any knowledge, since everything is allowed against nurse, or practically everything that isn't in the general balancing. But that is going to include healing perks, and leverage is supposed to say, tell the survivors, yeah, okay, there's no point, let's just abandon immediately. And yeah, while we do see that, Jason otherwise is also not even giving them an opportunity to reset anyway, because he's been staying very close to the hooks, at least on Dan's hooks, and not allowing for a reset opportunity anyway, so leverage so far has not contributed
Muy bien aquí Jason.
much. Eruption and Pop will anyway, but yeah, perk side, he's currently only playing with 2.
No, tenía solo un TP. F, aquí tenía que haber quedado 2. Con el segundo TP la
That's
da.
correct, and he's going for 2 brave swing Spitz.
Un poco de errores mecánicos por parte de Jason. A Nelate se le ve más sólido.
The 12 MS guy doesn't connect that hit. Now going to the bottom, 1 blink, second blink.
Por poco la daba.
Actually gets that hit, getting the down 2 eruptions on 2 different generators. Now with the pick is gonna be
No ve ni un solo aura con erupción, ni aquí ni allá.
allowing Jason to
Y aquí estaría la kit. Vamos, estoy 100 por Pedro. Aquí está aquí Pedro.
use pop one more time. That's if he's actually going for the generators in a 3v1. You would definitely want to be a little bit more aggressive, want to commit into players and kicking more generators. Obviously, Jason didn't play bad, he played quite smart, he was trying to
Vale, que eso tiene sprint, vale.
create his tunnel out. We also see Kexo walking with Spring Burst, trying to rotate to 12, predicting Blink, doesn't quite land it. Jason decides to fatigue instead of second blinking. I think Kexo might be wanting to rotate towards the other top side of the map, which he successfully does it. Jason decides to stop committing to him, just get his pop eruption, go back, maybe interrupting another generator or potentially find speeds, which would be the...
Aquí es, recordad que en SAC, si hay sótano, podéis usar queda equilibrada, ¿vale? Os tiráis hacia la escalera y usáis queda equilibrada, ¿vale? Así que es una zona muy buena que, oye, que si jugáis con queda equilibrada podéis usarla.
Second tunnel out, another kick on the generator with eruption. Pedro holding the check spot versus Nurse, that's really beautiful to see.
Slips, what do you think about this gen split? This is looking pretty brutal for Jason, isn't it?
It totally is. It totally is. Now,
Yo no me dio este segundo TP.
if you would be accepting your fate a little bit and try to take the tie, you would have way easier life than Jason currently has.
Oh yeah, I think so too, because I feel like Invictus are playing for the outs here because they are in a good position to do so. They did actually also get the gen split that I was fearing.
Es Lugea, bien hecho.
We Jason did have 3 generators on. Oh no, actually no. I was expecting that generator near Shack to fly last, so that essentially Invictus, getting that wrong, Sonny. Invictus are probably just trying to eliminate this 3 gen around main, and then it's basically free real estate, because again, they would have 1 generator near Shack and 1 near main building, which is a pretty difficult 3 gen to, pretty difficult split to manage even for a nurse. And that would mean that again, the hooks would end up being in between the remaining gens, and instead, if you have a 3 gen, it's very clear where you're supposed to go down. So, in the end, 3 gens are still much stronger. Oh, did he cancel his lunge there? That looked a bit wonky. I was gonna say, I feel like he could have committed that lunge there to Kexo and could have gotten it down. But it is looking pretty rough. Kexo running to the other side of the map, or as far as possible away from the generator that they are currently working on the hardest, which would be the one that VJs is currently staring at, that our survivors are abandoning. I wouldn't be surprised, however, if we've actually got...
Aquí me voy a la comunicación del equipo de Invictus, que se nota que se avisan mucho. Va para allá, vaya, tal, para que meterle full W y ganar distancia.
2 survivors ready there.
Y eso es lo más importante con enfermera. Tener distancia.
1 is baiting to abandon it, and Pedro, in the meantime, is still committing to it. Spitz would just be the bait here. But Pedro might have also rotated around main building to get the pickup back onto Kexo. He's still yet to be picked up, so I don't think it happened. And he's probably only now going for it, because he can tell the terror radius is growing near. And would be the perfect window of opportunity to go for that pickup onto Kexo. He's probably in that area just waiting for the terror radius to fade a bit more. It's tough to say what the next move is at the moment. We've got no eyes on anybody. Oh, okay, there we go.
The pickup finally happened. Pedro start over again, attacking the 3 gens. I cannot really understand what is going over there, and we see Speeds going. Woo! That happens. The hit happens on Speeds. I was actually not expecting for Speeds to to actually be so grateful and nice for Jason. That way he would give a free tag. Still, he has a medkit. I think he might be able to get a reset tech, so getting his reset as well. Don't see too much progression on generators. We also have eruption on top B generator. Jason taking a look on generator to the right side of the map. Doesn't see the survivor, however, it looks like his game sense is very, very good and very, very well trained, since Pedro is here getting the kick with eruption. Is he looking for the survivor? Yes, he is. Pedro double backing, getting stuck into Jason, getting the vault, however, he loses very much distance. This could end up in a 2 tap, which is gonna be very devastating for Team Invictus.
Dios, qué buena aquí Pedro, brutal. Yo pensé que el saltar por la ventana era error. Pero la enfermera espera tener dos TPs. Si no, con un TP la tira mucho antes.
It makes me so happy seeing no stunts every time. It's such a rare occurrence, and when it happens, it is so brutally satisfying, both for us and the survivors doing so. Oh, prediction. This is a really promising 3 gen there. I didn't expect it to be as...
Wow!
That would have been huge if he had got that down. Wow, that was lucky.
That was definitely very lucky. 2 survivors injured. Speeds is getting chased. However, Jason doesn't necessarily commit to anybody. He decides to drop. He decides that he's gonna want a free down onto somebody that will probably give him pop. And the eruption, that is the second blink as well onto Kexo, which brings down.
El único equipo que fue capaz de escapar contra enfermera fue Ariandel, con 5 stages, o sea, 5 estados de cuelgue y 3 escapes. Ostras.
Some regression all generators.
5 estados de cuelgue, madre mía, es poquísimo.
With eruption.
Por enfermera me refiero.
Kexo is getting slugged right now. Jason is trying to find somebody else, somebody that might give a free tag, somebody that might give a free down, and there he is! There he is! Pedro is giving the free down, and now...
Muy bien aquí Jason en macro, oliendo dónde están los supervivientes.
Only Ada is left. Matis. Do you
me.
think Spitz is gonna clutch this?
Yeah, he's probably just gonna try to stealth. Yeah, all eyes on Spitz now. This is such a tough position to be in, and they're all playing like there's thousands of dollars on the line. Oh yeah, wait, there is.
Como veas pitch, partidazo.
But yeah,
Encima es el único que tienen quebrantable, tío.
it's really difficult to get out of this scenario, especially now that the terror radius. He's gonna get line of sight on him, isn't he? Oh, okay, good.
Creo que la ha visto. Ha girado la luz roja al final.
Okay.
Jason?
Did he just look
No.
left last second? No.
No, sí, yo también como comentaste. Yo pensé que la había visto un poquito.
Okay, that was just
Se la ha puesto en corbata al pitch.
the nurse. What's that called again? To the left there. You first to enter shack 50 milliseconds off the blink.
Acura, Pedro,
But
bien.
it's enough to see. Spitz also pre-dropping
Esto es para la agilidad, ¿vale?
that shack pellet really early on because he doesn't want Jason to be able to enter shack and then get a better position
Mueven aquí Jason.
on him with the blink. And now he's also set himself up for the live to perfectly reach the other side. Or does he predict it? Almost did actually. That was really close.
Vale, cuidado, Pedro. Que está muy bien.
But yeah,
Bueno,
they've
Pedro,
actually
que
been
eso mejor
successful in
dicho.
picking everybody back up. And it seems like he's just gonna commit to the down with Spitz. Doesn't
Ahí.
manage to double back him
Las enfermeras hacen usted pensar en las esquinas. Eso siempre tenerlo en cuenta, ¿vale?
there, unfortunately, as Jason is just going to corner blink, and Spitz gets stuck slightly on that, on the double window tile. But yeah, we're also seeing another reset. Actually, you know, I almost want to say, if he had Death Bounty and not Leverage, this would have already been a 4K, no? Because they
Value that the leverage.
Esa perk es buenísima. La de que tú curas y te das la curación a ti mismo es buenísimo.
But coming back a little bit to Spitz situation, let's be real. Spitz didn't got body block by now. He just gave her a little kiss.
Muy bien.
Now we
A
have
little
the
hug.
second. Yeah, exactly. A little kiss and a hug. We have the second thing on to Pedro.
2 for 1
Aquí tiro el TP a salto de ventana para adivinarlo.
special.
Exactly. Pedro is now injured. He's trying to outplay the nuts with Jason gives up and
Hostia, cómo lía Speech, yo flipaba.
Spitz is doing something. Definitely
Porque yo pensé que estaba detrás de Pedro.
doing something. He might be
nada.
the bait. He might be. Oh, he was cooking.
Bueno, él estaba cocinando.
He was cooking. That was the S. Oh my god.
Bueno, va que perder unos segunditos, está bien.
Yeah, and it's bloody delicious, man. It's unbelievable. Gordon Ramsay would be a big fan of that decisive strike because that just cost Jason all of his momentum. He was trying to change tactics there by, instead of just opting for the slugs, actually tunnel a second person out. Because I don't think it's going to be possible. I'm pretty sure it was a Team Eternal. Or is they 3v1s? Or it is. They also common sense that 3v1 is the scenario you want to
Hola,
be in as
Pedro.
killer.
¿Qué estoy reparando?
But Eternal just have this trait about them locking in every time when it's a 3v1. And that very evidently also carried over to Invictus.
Muy bien, Pedro, que me mueve este chico, menos maravilla.
Beautiful double back there by Pedro. Used that tree on the rocks to break a line of sight and then run right back into the nurse. Who Jason expected him to hold W there as he didn't see him thanks to that tree. I also really love that Spitz
El vale para tener agilidad, muy bien hecho.
setting himself up for the live every time. That is really underestimated. He's dropping these pallets early. So one, who Jason has to walk all the way around as he won't
Se la juega mucho, se la juega mucho.
be able to position himself properly. And two, Spitz can double
Ahí lo mejor es parar, 2 TPs y hitear.
back into that pallet and use live, which their exhaustion perks has already done.
Yep. As we see, two of the generators will soon not be able to pick. Actually, in fact, one of the generators cannot be
Claro, dos personas en este motor que está más avanzado y una persona en el motor que está más alejado.
any more kicks. The other one on top mid will be soon stopped from being able to kick. Travers can be playing a little bit slow. With Jason gonna be the one that have to play aggressive. He seems to be standing between
No sé por qué no he ido ahí a por Pedro, está a la
the
derecha.
generators. He blinks. Oh, that was a beautiful blink. However, Spitz reacted, man. Has inhuman reaction. He just instantly ran away from the blink and now he's making it to bottom. He has two survivors on the same side. Going for another blink. Second blink? No, he actually decides to fatigue. Spitz was way too juggernaut
No están jugando muy bien los supervivientes ahora mismo.
over there. He was not sure if the second blink will land and he's gonna lose progression on top of the actually he's gonna gain progression on top of the generators. But there is
Buah. Ya está, chicos, ya está.
Difficult situation over here. It looks like Invictus might be able to get a 5th pop over here with Kexo being on the generator, I think. Making progression, you cannot regress it anymore. We see also Pedro making progression on top mid generator. Kexo, beautiful double back. A second
Se está comiendo casi todo el back, aquí Jason.
double back with Jason
Oh,
fully
yeah.
eats the double back. Speed
Look
is
at that
getting
double-
close to 100% on the generator. That would be the 5th generator in the wing addiction. Oh, Kexo is still in chase with lot of distance. Double blacking still getting one blink. That was a beautiful try. However, we just predicted that. Or just acting like a book second blink. And
We even get that far by emphasizing at the start before this matchup that I personally haven't seen an out yet. But yeah, here you go, Mathis. There's 2 right for you. If we even get that far, because we Jason
Muy bien, ahí Pedro enseñándose y luego, pum, me voy y fallo.
might still go for a 4K0 if neither of these survivors manage to reclaim this exit gate. I feel like, yeah, Jason has the right idea here. It's, for Spitz, it's either get back to that gate or somehow get Kexo out of that precarious situation.
Ostras, cuidado, que
He manages to pick him up last second. We might even see a 3 out, and honestly, I wouldn't put it past Invictus
lo está pelando como gamba.
to already be strategizing exactly around that. We see Kexo on that gate. Pedro still has balanced landing. All he needs to do is connect this chase without getting down too early to the main building. Oh, he almost double backed into him there. That was very risky movement. He needs to find some sort of elevation or even just get a good... Oh, that's so unfortunate. There's no way we Jason predicted that. Goes for the slow ball, tries to get past. And we Jason actually predicted it. And he
Justo al final de la fatiga. Que bien controlado lo tienen,
goes for the last second lunge, which Pedro didn't expect, thereby not waiting out fully. And he will be put to the ground. So we do stick to...
Y ya está.
do you think that there's absolutely...
Pues ya está. 3 y 3, 6, 8 cuelgues. 8 cuelguecitos. Ahora lo tenemos. Oye, la perde esta es un poco truño, ¿no? La perde esta que se ha puesto. Yo mejor la de Deathbone que se puso Nelly. La verdad, porque no... Tiene pinta de que no ha hecho nada de otro mundo. Pero muy bien un equipo de... Quitando a Dan, que obviamente ha muerto extremadamente rápido. Que hizo Pedro y Spitz. Pedro en persecución brutal, literalmente brutal. Y cuando estaban 2 dedos en el suelo y ahí Spitz se ha ocultado de puta madre. Y con 2 dedos en el suelo han podido remontar la partida, que eso es tremendamente difícil, más aún contra una enfermedad. Brutal, equipos supervivientes. Y este Jason tiraba muchos segundos TPs un poco al 50-50 y eso es un gran error. Hay que asegurar mucho los TPs o te pelan como gamba, como se ha podido ver en esta partida. Vale, pues de momento 2-0. Vamos con artista. Será hasta la última partida, chicos. Habrá más. Veremos. Vale, interesante. Va con pilas cargadas. Si no recuerdo máxima esta perk. Básicamente lo que hace es que cuando te hacen los motores, creo que eran, no sé si a 20 metros del motor, me lo estoy inventando, a unos 20-30 metros del motor, el killer va a un 5% más rápido de velocidad. Como si fuese con plulas nivel 1, básicamente. Va con utilidad veloz para tener otro 5% si mete, pero solo sirve con M1, ¿vale? Utilidad veloz es solo con M1. Metes M1 y tienes otro 5% de velocidad, muy bien. Me ha hecho para la gente y dirección corrupta. Qué raro. Estas dos perks no me gustan para el artista, la verdad, no me gustan. Porque es un... Sí que le meten mucho full de este killer. Pilas cargadas te puede llegar a funcionar y tal, pero tú no vas a hacer chase donde están hechos los motores, por ejemplo, no te interesa. Y esta perk es para M1, si aceptas con los cuervos no tienes esa velocidad, por lo que a mí no me gustan mucho estas dos perks que lleva, pero bueno, a ver qué tal.
with that being said,
Y de A2 WoW para tener cuatro cuervos y las manos para que si hay suplentes juntitos, los cuervos se dispersen.
we Jason is now an artist on other resting.
Un segundo, chicos, ya vuelvo. Vale, continuamos, chicos. Eso, addons, a mí el del huevo no me gusta porque tardas mucho en cargar los 4 cuervos. Prefiero el de recargar más rápido, pero bueno, 4 cuervos te da mucha opción de snipear.
We already see a Forgen on the bottom side of the map. We see a survivor as well with his crash marks. We just a little bit confused. He doesn't truly understand where is the survivor trying to go for the info with the crow. We see a survivor on bottom.
Ya sabes que en este mapa solo se juega en un lado, ¿vale? En plan, en este caso artista se queda en un lado y la otra zona del mapa pasa completamente.
Doesn't want to commit to that survivor.
Es un mapa muy mal diseñado, es aburrido de jugar.
He tries to get somebody that might be a little bit out of place,
Por poco
maybe
nada.
positioning badly, maybe giving away a free hit, why not? And here it is. It looks like that is Kex on the dump track, trying to gain his attention, and now we have Dan with Spring Burst. They're all on bottom side, they're all very
Muy buena aquí.
careful with the chases, and that was a beautiful read. Actually, we just managed to hit some crows
Herido aquí Pedro, muy bien.
onto Pedro, and that would be the second hit with 3 crows. That's beautiful. That could potentially
Ha utilizado los 4 cuervos, ¿vale? Si os fijáis, tarda mucho en recargarlos.
end up with a very quick chase. Do you think that's gonna be the case?
He doesn't even have the add-on that gives them that extra 0.5 seconds that it takes to repel crows. Or repel, not repeal. Repel crows. It is the same word they use in Pokemon as well. But yeah,
Aquí el artista muy bien, se imagina, entonces va mete full W.
that's pretty ridiculous for Wee Jason.
Por poco.
He was able to get that so quickly. Narrowly misses the birds, yeah, unfortunately. And yeah, also with those 2 perks that he's bringing, we need to talk about that in a jiffy. But first of all, let's pay more attention to Pedro's chase here. He's trying to link these tiles together, does have the pallets here.
Brutal. Apunta hacia aquí, apunta hacia aquí, se mete y fuera. Brutal.
It's not still
Aquí. Lo diré. Jason, perfecto.
gets the
Almost.
injury there. That's impressive. It's a very early down. Does he get the hook before that generator pops? Is the $1,000,000 question. He does not. But yeah, at least at the exact same amount of time. But yeah, we saw batteries included on Wee Jason. I'm gonna point out that perk because Rapid Brutality isn't too much
Qué bueno.
of a surprise. There's no point getting Bloodlust on this killer. Rapid Brutality is going to help out tremendously more. Batteries included.
Nah, es que con 4 cuervos esto fácil. Está rotísimo.
Oh, wow, he's getting a second hit even. Have you seen that perk
Con 3 cuervos puedes fallar, pero con 4 es imposible fallar, yo creo.
used before?
Batteries included. Honestly, I don't think I've ever seen it used on any killer, not
Yeah.
artist. As an artist player, I'm also very surprised about the Rapid Brutality as...
Nah, aquí cagada de Jason.
Oh, that was a beautiful stun from
Ouch.
Pedro. What's going on over here? Yeah, I wanted to mention that Rapid Brutality is in fact a weird pick for me. As with artists, you definitely want to hit Survivor, Injure Survivor, Down Survivor with Crows. That way, you will not get much of a value.
Aquí mal Jason metiendo cuervos yendo por la misma zona y tenía que haber ido hacia la derecha.
But maybe with Jason will be
nice.
actually cooking with this build. Oh, that was very good zoning of a team from Jason. Doesn't. He's not too
Aquí no puede hacer nada Pedro. Muy bien jugado por Jason.
impatient, and that would be the down on Pedro. We see somebody for the pallet save. However,
Aquí muy mal Dan. Debería haber estado, sinceramente. El artista es el killer más jugado en este momento con 10 partidas. 12 partidas en total después de este set serán.
that was not decided if
Yo me alegro porque este es mi segundo killer favorito, así que me encanta
he
verlo.
wants to do a pallet save or not. I'm not sure what happened over there. And now we already have Dan into chase.
Muy buen sprint, perfecto.
One generator being popped with Spring Burst 99. That was beautiful. He managed to get distance, doesn't get the crow. Blitz is over there having 60% on a generator on the bottom side. Where exactly was the 4th gen? I think it's actually going well. Matis.
Yeah, that SD was really weird because I feel like Dan could have. He had it 99, right? So he could have used that for the pallet save even. I'm surprised he didn't go for it and instead you
Claro, ya pues se cambian en esa zona basura.
kept it for this chase. Again, yeah, ping. It is very difficult to get a pallet save on that. But might as well try, right?
Por eso para mí la de pilas incluidas es que no la veo en este mapa. No la veo, porque tú vas a pasar de la zona donde van los motores, vas a sudar. Entonces, esta perk es que no la veo para nada.
But yeah,
Brutalidad veloz todavía tiene su pase.
That was interesting. At least maybe he actually maybe he didn't necessarily use it too efficiently. Maybe he messed it up a little bit. That's why he didn't manage to get the pallet save, and he was like, okay, if I messed it
Hostia, se lo han bajado aquí, pues han venido 2 personas.
up, we're gonna play later a bit better and actually get the outs we need. We see Pedro being able to get tunneled out. Dan trying to body block. Beautiful double back over there. We just trying to get an injury onto Dan. However, doesn't happen. One more getter being popped. We just that should be an M1. You don't have to use the crow. Dan again trying to get the protection hit, and that would be the Hit onto Dan. Pedro
Muy bien aquí el killer.
still alive. That could end up really
¿Cómo? ¿Ha fallado M1?
brilliant one. You don't have to use the crow. Dan again trying to get the protection hit, and that would be the
Aquí muy bien porque ha pegado una hostia al Dan y encima Pedro se ha tenido que meter contra la pared porque tenía que esquivar el cuerpo.
hit onto Dan. Pedro still alive. That could end up really
Ha fallado el hit, cagada gigantesca, pero ¿qué le pasa a este chico?
bad.
tío?
He misses the M1 and he gets stuck.
Este que es una cagada gigantesca para un M1, por Dios.
Or he was holding the checks, but I'm not necessarily sure. But Pedro did a beautiful batting over there.
And now we have the take come as well. Wow, missing one hit can backfire so badly. We saw Pedro easily reach the pallet because of it. Also was able to get support from Spitz here and then gets completely demolished over the window. Wow.
Le ha hecho un motor de la otra zona. Muy bien aquí el equipo de Invictus.
At least he does manage to get his tunnel out finally. Very early on as well, so... You know what, my 3-kill thesis might be completely off. I would be completely surprised if Jason actually managed to 4K this. And
Los he visto.
with Artist especially, after we've seen an
Este tiene dos motores, pero los tienen divididos en las dos zonas, así que en principio la ventaja de los supervivientes pese a ser 3.
8 out yesterday, split across 2 games. He even finds the reset as well, so he has a clear idea on where all of these survivors are. He was expecting a very early board there on Spitz and thinking that he could hit him on the other side. Does bode for Kexo now, as he is in a more inconvenient position. Main building is anything but safe against Artist. And yeah, again, I want to talk about that rapid brutality because you also pointed out how, again, that's only really useful against not really useful for
Recordad que si no tiráis los cuervos lo recuperáis muy rápido, ¿vale? Así que hay veces donde interesa mucho no tirarlos.
for the Artist, because again, rapid brutality only works for basic attacks, which Artist doesn't really make use of too much unless you're Kexo and are able to successfully enforce it. That was really smart by him, just straight up
Ahí está muerto. Muy bien, Jason. Aquí.
standing still, because he knows if he moves a muscle, he's going to get hit by a crow, and Jason's going to recover much faster from that, so instead, he forced out that M1, waste a bit more time, get a bit more distance after the hit. That was really smart. Finally gets that first hook. Should also be the next pain res. A stack removed from his counter. But yeah, with rapid brutality, I really hope this isn't a hitboxes no-ad nurse moment after the perk was changed, where it only applies to basic attacks, because I do remember a nurse
Jason egg that adds
Está cambiando, vale, pues lo paso rápido.
one more crow to the count instead of players to be is too worried about it because they can just clearly progress
Pues veremos porque este desbloque va a ser muy importante, ¿vale? Muy importante. A ver si es como la caguen los supervivientes y...
up to generators, maybe ending up with 1 or 2 people out. We see Dan dodging. Still, we see it's going for
Aunque bueno, acertar cuervos en el saque no sirve para nada, porque tiene un armario justo al lado y te lo quitas en 1 segundo y medio.
the save. Matis, do you think this save will be successful?
I can imagine that Jason is probably going to... Doesn't really have instinct on damn useful. But again, yeah, we see Jason completely abandoning this side because he's a bit unsure about this generator. He does get the killer instinct on Dan here, who is definitely already on this generator. They've got
Vale, has rescatado a Kexo. Veis ahora tiene pilas incluidas, que es el 7%.
this beautiful split of generators here. Dan probably just gonna jump blocker, yep. Dan also has that 99 sprint burst, so it's gonna be really difficult for Jason to catch up. Or at least Dan is going
Pensaba que era un 5, pero no es un 7. El 5% es lo de brutalidad veloz.
to very safely make it to Shaq if he so decides. Does still have it active. He's probably gonna proc it now. No, he's gonna keep it for after the injury. Okay. Interesting decision to keep it around. It maybe actually it could be a really smart play here, making yourself seem vulnerable, but in the end you still have that sprint burst in your back pocket. So he might have injured himself intentionally so that Jason would now
Yo lo que sería es aguantar el cuervo. Lo aguanto un poquito en el aire antes de tirarlo, porque si no te lo van a esquivar muy fácilmente.
try to overcommit to the chase, and then Dan still has the sprint burst available and easily makes it to Shaq. Does make the noise notification. I don't think he had the crow on him. It must just been a missed skill check. But yeah, Jason will go all the way back here, and yeah, Dan is
Tengo a mi gatita encima del ordenador, como me lo apague, partidazo.
a couple hills away already. So, but yeah, it wasn't as aggressive as he could have been. I feel like he could have stuck a bit longer there and then waited for the sprint burst. And now they're also just playing. Yeah, they're basically sat on a seesaw right now, with Wee Jason being the connecting part in the middle, letting one side go up and the other side go down at the same time, as in letting one,
Fallo grande.
sending one side away from the gens and putting the other side on top of the generators. But yeah,
Claro, que es un cuervo en la ventana y es hostia. Es hostia asegurada, no puedo hacer nada el superviviente.
Wee Jason's stuck between rock and a hard place literally now, because he also doesn't know what side to go for.
Here's the M1 with the rapid fatality value. I think we've seen it so far twice when it actually was useful. We get the crows on the speeds. Dan is working on the bottom side of the generator. They're in fact doubling. Hexo and Dan are doubling. Now Spitz only has to last a little bit. Come on, Spitz.
Nacho flagelante.
That would have been so beautiful and such an easy
Pain
win. Yeah. Could be a Perez. We see Cax already
Cuidado que están los dos heridos, cuidado.
preparing to leave. Dan getting rest on the generator. I think Cax might prepare for the save. That way, Dan can be very safely, as you said earlier, with 99 sprint burst.
La he visto, la he visto, la he visto.
And we might see Wee Jason committing to bottom side. Yes, we see Wee Jason committing to bottom side. Onto Kexo, Dan committing to the generator, deciding not to do the generator. Wee Jason trapping the generator as well. This is crazy, everything it's going on around. It's such multiple action happening. Mattis, what do you think?
This is getting really tough. He has to commit to Dan now,
Yeah.
because he is the survivor in charge of the generator with the most progress. That might
Muy buena, brutal aquí.
be a hit over! He might actually have enough time now to win, to 4K this. That would be ridiculous if he just hooks
Pues mira, peleas incluidas están sirviendo, Las cosas como son.
Stan. Yeah, what he... How many gens do they have on the other side? I'm not entirely sure what the progress, but what he could
No sé si es pilas o baterías, pero bueno. Pilas o baterías incluidas.
do now, very safely, is he hooks Dan on that generator that is far. Oh yeah, okay, they've already got this close to being done. But Dan is also pain res, so he could just hook him on the generator, then kick the generator next to him. And, oh, it's not pain res. Ouch. And it's Invictus were expecting that. It may not be pain res. Yeah.
Ooh,
Cuidado, cuidado, cuidado. Se puede cargar las dos,
100% popping, but it could be a 4K.
yeah, it could be a 40-0 with that.
Han fallado. F.
Not necessarily slingshot, but that snipe, unfortunately, doesn't hit any of the
Puertas en el otro lado, qué suerte.
survivors. Both of the survivors will get rid of the crows. Both of the gates are on bottom side, which is
Okay.
also the hook. There is still a potential 4K over here, Mattis. If Wee Jason would be... Oh my god, there's Speeds over there trying to cross on the bottom. He's being way too aggressive. Now Wee Jason still has the cross. Both of the survivors, Kexo and Speeds, are trying to cross on the bottom at the same time. That way, Wee Jason will have to make a decision which one to commit. And now we get this hook with a trade. That means Dan is able to have that immunity for 10 seconds. Wee Jason
Vale, que Exo muere.
picks up the survivor. This could end up really badly for him.
We are now reduced to 2 men standing, but with Dan over here and Spitz definitely already on that other exit gate, I'm pretty sure we're going
Qué
to
rápida es.
see at least one out, but Dan is definitely not making it out because he has already exhausted his sprint burst early on. Yeah,
Se ha escapado uno.
get that killer in the middle.
Ahí está.
Because he already
Todo está muy bien, se ha hecho 3x3 9, 10 cuelgues, bastante bien, la
left
verdad.
because they also couldn't have to at least.
10 cuelguecitos, muy bien, muy bien. Vale, siguiente partida. Vale, 2, 12. Un poquito más.
You remember there was a
He was
Nihilite this
Ahí
time.
está. Nihilite, perfecto, con agitación hecho para adelante y me gusta mucho más esta build, la verdad. Agitación para la artista es brutal porque tú decides en qué gancho poner, cercano a los motores, muy buena perk. Y brutal de velocidad, digo yo, la compro pilas incluidas, le ha servido a Jason, pero no sé, no la veo una buena perk, sinceramente.
Build up a
O sea, no una de las mejores perks, mejor dicho.
slingshot from top side to bottom side. We
Please.
again
Artista la consideran ellos tier 3, para que veáis, o sea, ni siquiera tier 2.
see no, actually it's a 3-1-3. Please be the slingshot. He did a beautiful
Imagine.
protection. I would have actually expected to at least swarm over one of the survivors, but it didn't happen. Nihilite now is trying to figure out where are the survivors, where are they trying to sneak from? Are they gonna manage to cross to top side like we've seen the previous game, Survivors just fully committed to top side and making with Jason a little bit nervous about chasing Pedro on top, if you remember.
Yeah, we see him already doing a much better job at containing
Por lo que skin es esta, tío. Estoy flipando con el arma,
the survivors
Parece el arma de un trampero, tío.
on one side of the map, because Jason did let a couple of Invictus players slip past very early on in the previous trial. Nightlight is also going to commit to this chase on this complete other side of the map from, or deep inside of his corrupt area at least. Does have a 4-gen on the other side of the map as well, so typically a player wouldn't want to lose it. But considering his corrupt intervention is not affecting this 4-gen, I can imagine that he doesn't necessarily care about the setup, or this early crow might backfire. Jason still knows about it, goes to the Z-roll, very smart, tries to waste a couple extra seconds, was very successful in doing so, just holds W completely after vaulting.
Muy bien Jason, eso, movido muy bien. Es muy difícil hacer lo que ha hecho Jason de moverse entre estructuras tan bien.
Once he will take that first clobber here, makes it straight to Shaq, drops it early on to get that bit of extra distance.
Quedas con ese cuervo, ¿vale? Ese cuervo sirve para cubrir ventana y paletas. Ese cuervo hace que el sack se vaya a tomar por culo.
Nightlight is going to set up a crow.
Yo todo lo que sé de artista lo aprendo de Nightlight. Vale, para mí la mejor artista del mundo es Nightlight, pero bueno.
On that Shaq pallet, so if Jason decides to stick to it, might backfire. He's probably going to hold around, yeah. That was also very smart by Nightlight. He was expecting.
Eso era para esperar, si por ejemplo aquí el Colette iba con el sack, se comía la cabeza del cuervo y con el segundo cuervo que ha puesto, ¡pum! La one-shoteaba.
Jason to just eat the crow.
Pero aquí, muy atento Jason, se ha ido para la derecha.
And then Nightlight would have immediately followed up by shooting one straight at him.
Hostia, no se lo esperaba.
How is Jason doing this? This is super impressive right now. The fact that he's still standing, his team popped the generator on the other side of the map. Goodbye 4-gen, that means. Well, he might be running back into this crow if Nightlight sends it off. But no, beautifully runs around that rock here, goes for the window. This is fantastic chasing so far, honestly.
Hostia, aquí Jason no le está pelando a nadie.
Oh my god!
Jason! Calm down!
I don't even have the words for with Jason's chase. It's been one generator popped. There is danger for 2 other generators to be popped. Now he's truly showing us why.
Mucho tiempo está perdiendo con Jason, muchísimo.
Why he's the captain of Team Sinners? Why is Team Sinners where they is? Why is Team Sinners playing in Dead by Daylight? And why is their name so big in the community? Once again, Nightlight getting rid out of another set of crows. With Jason going for the vault.
Estaba perdiendo muchísimo tiempo, demasiado.
Doesn't even storm the survivor. That is crazy. This chase is crazy. I'm actually
La parte se va en esta chase, literalmente.
surprised to see that this is still lasting against Nightlight, which was very confident to be starting the game against Sinners.
And he reaches this pellet as well and doesn't even take the throw. He has so much. Finally. Oh my god. Put an end to this, man.
No, brutal Jason, brutal. Y Nightlight ha cometido muchos errores.
This reminded me so
Pero Jason, impecable.
much of, was it Winter Circuit Grand Finals when it was one of our previous tournaments, when it was
Mirar, 3 motores diferentes. Pum, pum, pum. Bueno, con 8 frases de bajar.
Eterna and Elysium in the Grand Finals. They are 3-split on the gens too. Beautiful. I was hoping they would. Yeah, this is by far the longest artist chase of the season as well. Absolutely ridiculous what we
Va a aparecer esto en las caparadas.
Jason just did. Again, I lost my train of thought there because of the pain rest and the beautiful 3-split. But yeah, this reminds me so much of that time in the grand final when Nightlight ran Xeno's artist for near 3 gens. And Jason almost just did that for 4. 4-gen chase against Nightlight's artist.
Y ya os digo, 4 supervivientes y un motor, de igual que los tengo estos en la misma zona. No se puede hacer nada, ¿vale? Os lo digo yo que he jugado a Scrims un artista contra otros equipos en este mismo mapa y contra 4 supervivientes en 3-gen de una zona no puedes hacer nada.
I'm going to count this as a 4-gen.
Nada.
I don't care about the pain res. Putting an end to the brutal progress that Sinners made here.
Da igual que es el mejor jugador del mundo, no se puede hacer nada.
I'm just going to count it as a 4-gen chase. Brutal. Beautiful by Jason. Please clip that. Deserves all the shipping. Jason already the MVP for this set, and I really hope Sinners can profit from it to bring it to a 4th set.
Yeah, definitely. This just for the sake of it with Jason chase so good, and they deserve to win this set. We would definitely want, we would definitely want to see another game from these two strong teams. Bucky going for the save, both of them getting swarmed. He manages to get the save without a trade. And now that I'm thinking, I think I finally found out the purpose of rapid brutality. As a survivor, you're always trying to force the M1 from artist because there is way more cooldown for the artist itself. Beautiful dodge.
Muy bien aquí Jason, lo ha hecho, o sea, Jason muy bien en esquivar, pero aquí Nalate ha aguantado perfecto.
And he actually managed to last a little bit longer with that dodge.
Ah, coño, la skin esta de que se pasa al espíritu.
Yeah, coming back to the explanation, you always want to dodge the crow as there is more cooldown on the M1, and that rapid brutality is basically balancing the
Buah, el motor se lo están cascando que
things
flipas.
between crow and M1s. If you're forced to M1, it's fine. You're gonna force the M1 and you're gonna
Hola, hasta luego motor.
get that movement speed. And with that being said, we see a generator being very progressed. They actually popped the generator and Buck is pulling.
Obviamente se va al medio, pero bueno, ya está.
Zub is actually going down. I don't know what happened over there. Probably there was a crow. Nihilite. No, actually it was an M1. We can see that because of rapid brutality.
Madre mía.
Nihilite is going for
Todo por H desde el principio. Ha sido una pelada gigantesca.
for Dwight over here. He gets
SMS.
SMS, yeah, there we go. SMS, he gets hit by the crow. Thank you very much, Matis. He's going edge map. He has a God Filler over here. However, he decides to skip the God Filler, and Nihilite will eventually get down.
Yeah, just book it edge map. There's absolutely no point of doing anything else. Who cares about the
Pues 5 goles se va a hacer. 5 goles.
chase? Just die in the right position.
Nah, partidón de Jason, Y Nalate muy mal jugada la primera chase. Malísimo. Cuando haces una primera chase tan mala, ya la partida sabes que está perdida. O sea, no se puede hacer nada con 4 clientes en un lleno que sea sancista en este mapa. O sea, ni con la enfermedad tampoco. Vale, pues nada, primera partida ganada para Skinners. Hasta los mejores fallan, ya lo habéis visto. Nalate es para mí el segundo mejor jugador del mundo, pero ha fallado estrepitosamente en esta partida. Así que, vamos, le puede pasar a cualquiera. Vale. Para atrás. Vamos con
It's gonna be
Freddy.
tough on Sinners.
El bueno de Freddy.
Yeah, for sure. We
Vale, interesante para con esta per para cuando se TP que no tengan ninguna per de agotamiento. Hecho flagrante interrupción corrupta. Muy bien.
You know what? I'm very surprised to see Nihilite playing the 4th killer for Team Invictus. I'm not sure.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I was expecting to see maybe Pedro playing one of the killers. I think you would expect the same matches, right?
Honestly, I sadly don't
En este mapa lo normal es que se vayan supervivientes, obviamente, pero Freddy puede hacer cositas.
remember who played killer for them last time. I can imagine because the reason why Nightlight ends up playing the Nightmare is because he loves these dynamic killers. That Nightmare also would be similar to the reason why we saw Artist last game. The killers that have the potential to play globally or that have a unique macro outside of those.
Y un consejo contra Freddy, chicos, siempre intentar no estar dormidos, ¿vale? Cuando estéis dormidos estáis bien jodidos, ¿vale? Pero por intentar siempre pillar relojes.
One focus killers. But I mean, also Pedro just plays everything. So both of these players could potentially easily play all the killers.
Cagada que de eso.
There's no specific rhyme or reason to whom they play and whom they don't. It's literally just up to preference and what they feel more comfortable with. And here we get that very early hit onto Jason. Will we see a rinse and repeat? He must be on fire now, so I honestly wouldn't be surprised if he was able to at least get close to the mastery performed
Hostias, va para arriba. Eso no lo sabía, mira. Lo acabo de aprender.
in the previous round. Oh, that was
Yo pensé que atravesaba.
that was unfortunate for Nightlight.
Cada día se aprenden cosas nuevas, chicos.
Definitely, we see Jason still in a very good situation over here. He has a couple of good ballas that he can play. Nihilite seems to be a little bit
Wow.
confused. Wow. With Jason getting the medium volt now, potentially making it to main, doesn't make it to main. With Jason going edge map, giving
¿Ha fallado? No, ha dado.
his team time to pop one generator pre-dropping the pallet, still standing off it with
Qué bien Jason aquí en este... Esto es kill para killer 80-20.
Nihilite. He doesn't get Jason gets out alive, and that is huge. That's gonna deny the down with
Recorte de distancia con el TP, muy bien.
such a longer actual time, and now there is a potential even longer chase because Jason decided to make it to another floor, which is in theory should be unsafe, and this Jason skips it and now
Muy bien Jason ahí, muy bien.
gives Nihilite a little kiss.
Honestly, that was smart by Jason to just leave that pallet and just go edge map. because one, it secures you get extra time, and two, it preserves the pallet for later use, which is really important on Dead Dog, especially in the area that we just saw SMS work on the generator. Because if you use up all the tiles in that area and you still have a generator there at the end of the game, you're practically never popping that, because there's just nothing there. It's a full dead zone. If you leave just one fill up, that can waste so much time. So I'm really glad we, Jason, did that, and I hope we see it pay off later in the trial. I don't think SMS will get, really unfortunately, he will not be able to get the pop off this generator. He does, like that only has eruption on it. He's probably just immediately going to go back for the tunnel. So I hope SMS is already in position to reclaim that generator lickety split, and it sounds like it. Very early firecracker. They were a bit afraid there that Nightlight might drop down. And we see personal bodyguard SMS taking that clobber for we Jason, allowing him to get some extra distance. They will split up on top upstairs main building. Also very smart decision to not run into each other and then die on each other. Oh, head on, please.
Muy buen head-on, muy bueno.
Let's go!
Ya sabes que el head-on en main aquí es fácil meterlo. Es muy buena.
Wow, Team Sinners is working very good.
Muy bien equipo de Sinners, la verdad.
Together, they managed to get the protection here, they managed to get the head-on. Nyla doesn't have any field of view onto with Jason his tunnel, but also just a moment to appreciate with Jason's first chase, which lasted 2 minutes, and now Nyla has to drop the chase into another server, as with Jason is way too difficult to chase onto main. Is also very difficult. So far we're getting information about Freddy being average as a 7.5 stages. Honestly, if Team Sinners is completely oh my god, I cannot even talk for one second without something crazy happening from Team Sinners. I'm so happy I'm able to cast this, but as I was always saying, if Team Sinners is keeping it like this, we could potentially see a below average. Nada doesn't fall for the fake, and now we'll end up
Que me llega a saltar el pared y lo pela literalmente, pero bueno, muy bien jugado por tu.
with a down onto the edge map. Doesn't seem to have too much progression onto gems, but to be fair, right now I'm expecting a reset happening and then another gem popping.
Yeah, the gen right next to Nightlight here was 90%. Now he's that.
Sora, como me apagues el ordenador, me voy a tiltear.
Pain rest on it. It shouldn't be SMS's gen that was affected by it. They also still have the generator in the. Oh no, they do they? I don't think they shouldn't, at least. I'm pretty sure SMS popped it by the time. They are trying to get rid of these 3 gens very early on, but Freddy is thankfully one of those, or very interestingly also one of those killers that don't really care about 3 gens. I was gonna say
SMS directamente al palet, muy bien lanzado.
Wow, that was risky, but somehow paid off. That was extremely narrow. Almost struck SMS there as he was dropping the pallet, but somehow still got the stun, which could also enable our survivor team to go for the unhook, and Nightlight perfectly times the TP back, gets it right back on. And yeah, they don't. Nightlight doesn't get the trade, however. He's just gonna opt to go for the. No, it doesn't go for the tunnel, soft tunnel, I want to say, because it doesn't matter who he goes for. Go for first hook, and unfortunately,
Perfecto, aquí.
he does go down in this corner. It seems like they're
perfecto.
resetting Zoot first before committing to the generators. I'm pretty sure they have at least 2 gens on 90 at the moment, however. Oh, he
Y le dejas lugado, perfecto.
peed on the
Muy
heel.
bien.
Zuba getting chased. I'm actually surprised Nyla didn't go for that swing. Zoom is
Cada equilibrada muy bien usada, pero la se come la otra.
trying to use the balance landing. Beautiful usage of balance landing. Now he has a good filler on top of the map. However, this is still a huge ping, and now he's getting slowed down. Playing the 50, losing the 50 with Nyla.
Muy bien, aquí el 50-50, muy bien.
And goes down. In the meantime, Jason is getting picked up. One more generator is being popped. Nightlight baited the TP and now goes for the pickup. I think this might be a basement hook. Yeah, that is correct. We already have a hook on Zoop, so we cannot use Painers anymore. And still, since the beginning of the match, so many things happened that we didn't even had enough time to talk about the perks. Nightlight is running Mindbreaker.
Oh yeah.
What is going on?
I find it funny you point that out because I didn't even realize he had Mindbreaker. That is pretty interesting. I'm trying to find rhyme or reason to
Uy, ha intentado abrirlo ya a la distancia.
at the moment.
Le voy a salir y me corto los cojones.
I'm guessing he wants to TP on generators nearby that aren't necessarily the gens that our survivors are working on, so he can sneak up on them. maybe something along those lines.
Qué bien lo ha hecho, qué bien.
Or it also works for exhaustion perk, of course. Or they did not help Zoop at all here. Yeah, I was gonna.
Qué bien lo ha hecho aquí Nightlight, brutal. Como se va yendo hacia atrás, cubriendo los dos. Al otro lo deja ahí enganchado y a la otra que la salga y se la folla bien el culo. Muy bien, muy bien.
That was unfortunately messed up quite bad by SMS there. They did not find any narrow passage where Freddy could be blocked. And that is going to be a very quick and unwelcome execution of Zoop here. Jason will be able to pop his should at least be able to pop his generator. Shouldn't rule that out. Yeah, he's just gonna TP on it, so he won't even be able to.
Justo al motor que tenía que ir, va, perfecto, ahí el Mac.
And Nightlight is looking really, really good right now again because the elimination comes.
Se bueno, tira el palo.
I would have punched my monitor if that I did, honestly, on his behalf.
Muy
But
bien.
yeah, Nightlight
Está todo el 50-50, casi todos lo está haciendo, menos el de la esquina ya que es un plan.
has so much momentum regained now. They pop the penultimate generator. But yeah, Jason is also very close to being eliminated from this trial. This is starting to look very grim for Team Sinners, despite that really successful early game. Freddy is showing off how strong he can be on Dead Dog.
Yeah, honestly, I wasn't expecting this after the first Jason that Jason did. I was expecting 3, 4, maybe 5 stages at the most. However, Nightlight showed once again why he's been in comp for so many years, why he's playing killer for Team Invictus for now. Well, not for now, but why he's playing killer for Team Invictus. That sounded a little bit bad. Now he's doing a little bit of renovation. He's trying to put a fact pallet, breaking a wall, breaking a generator. That eruption is definitely helping him to keep regression onto generators. Bucky attacking one of the generators with 50%. With Jason, SMS, all of them are healthy. This is the moment when they should be attacking. This is the moment when they should be splitting onto generators. We also see that the generators are very far away splitted. It's not a big of an issue for Freddy, but it's way more difficult to hold it. Isn't that right, Matis?
Sí, le va a ser difícil aguantar la partida, aunque esté contra 3 le va a ser difícil. Si mata a Jason sería la mejor jugada para él.
No. Yeah,
No.
this is gonna be. I want to say, despite the 3v1, this is really difficult for Nightlight now because of the health states. So now we're most likely just going to see our survivors
Muy
commit
bien aquí SMS.
generators on polar opposite sides of the map, and then the moment Nightlight
Qué bien aquí SMS.
arrives. Beautiful again by SMS. I feel like he's not even playing from South America. He must be on like some island in the Atlantic because he's been on Nightlight. The connection has been much more forgiving for him specifically. But yeah, coming back to what I was saying, they can essentially just commit to generators on polar opposite sides of the map. And then
aquí no hemos visto la chis, una pena.
even if Nightlight gets a hit, demolished! No, that wastes so much time now. He has to go all the way around.
Esto lo hace perder 5 segunditos.
That was beautiful by Bucky. Unfortunately, goes down closer than I was hoping, or too close to comfort, because he will be hooked on this generator now. SMS might also just
Esta gancha por delante.
start a new generator to work on. Pain Resonance also hits that generator. Currently, they have no progress. But considering they're still too healthy, I really shouldn't speak about the health states at this point. But yeah, I feel like they should always have just ample time to react to whenever Nightlight gets close to their generators. To just
Muy bien Jason, la verdad.
nice. To just pre-leave,
Jason en general está jugando muy bien las chases,
or even if they take it, just make it to the other side of the map. But Bucky proved me wrong. And also, again, they're playing the pallets really, really well, despite the pings.
Yeah. With Jason,
SMS.
Bucky, SMS, Zoop, all of them played those pellets so perfectly. They managed to get pellet stance even against Nurse.
Yeah.
That was crazy. But coming back to our Freddy, or I should say Nightmare, sooner or later the generators wouldn't be able to be kicked anymore. That means there would be an issue with Nightmare.
Está muy mal la visión esta del invitado, porque si os fijáis aparecen motos amarillos que no deberían aparecer porque ya están hechos. Y la perk star de agotamiento y no aparecen los suplentes como que los de agotamiento.
Because he will have to commit to one of the survivors to get
Veis, está con lo de que no tienen lectura de auras.
Satan allowed to get a 2v1 and to capitalize
Está muy bugueada la versión de esta del mitad.
the game. Else, you might end up with survivors getting out, and it's clearly what you don't want if you're Team Invictus.
Solano, por favor.
Especially with Freddy's latest rework, which made him a little bit way more viable. Mainly, Freddy is way more stronger than he used to be, and also players decided that, well, he's a killer I wanna play, he's a killer that I wanna learn, he's a killer that I wanna perfect myself
Hostia, Claudet, herida, 2 juegos, partida.
onto, and that's what Nightlight did, and I'm pretty sure that Jason also has some tricks in his back pocket.
I think the call-out came in a bit too late there. That
Qué bueno el de frente, ya se ha comido 2. Brutal. Ese de frente no es tan fácil meterlo,
oh, thank the Lord. I was gonna say the call-out by SMS seemed to have
Cuidado que aquí está abierto, cuidado que aquí está abierto,
gone through a
cuidado.
bit too late there because Jason and
Pues porque Freddy no ha ido por ahí, que se lo encuentra de cara.
and Bucky spent an awfully long time in that corner of the map committing to the reset when again they should have
That's
pre-left
fine.
that very early. Jason goes down too early now. I'm not sure.
Erupción.
Yeah, plus eruption. They might be doubling that gen, but Nightlight is probably just gonna pop right back over. Yep, he does. Oh wow, you know, now Mindbreaker is also really popping off because the survivors are not able to properly... Yeah, this...
Joder, no me puedes fallar eso, Nile, por Dios.
Oh, he actually doesn't get the hit.
Claro,
Yeah, but it doesn't matter.
que sepáis que si están por encima del palet, desde el otro lado les podéis hitear, ¿vale?
The survivors
En plan, si se están saltando en ese instante.
aren't properly able to pre-leave the generator since they stay exhausted, and that is just so annoying, especially if you've got conditional exhaustion perks that you need up and ready. And yeah, Jason does get picked up here in the corner, but everybody is going to be injured now. Very smart by Nightlight to just go for the injury instead of going for
Jason va a quedar dormido dentro de poco.
down onto Jason right after the pickup. Because Jason is also just way too far away now to go for this, or to go as quick as he might want to for this reset. You know, it all relies on this one generator, and I don't... Yeah, we get the grab. I don't think they can pop it in time. Nightlight was able to finesse his way around the health states and was able to get all of them injured over and over. Jason's trying to somewhat like walk into him now, hoping that Nightlight will TP past, which does pay off. And I wouldn't have been surprised, honestly, if Nightlight was committed to walking and then just downed him. But yeah.
En ese palet todos los pasan muy bien, lo que tenemos.
Very tough. Also, SMS was the players. We see Buck going down very quickly. SMS and Jason resetting. There is no gen progression. There is no gen pressure. Nightlight also slugging, expecting the reset. There is a potential TP that might capitalize the game over here. If Nightlight will do it, he doesn't seem to do that.
Que pena no tenía... callar, los retrasos mayores soy gilipollas, es para hacer el TP. Perdón, no soy retraso mental. Se me olvidaba que el Freddy nuevo puede ir a TPs que están encendidos. Encendidos, hechos, man.
He's fully walking, expecting the survivors maybe rotating from edges. He's one of the survivors trying to find the second one. He's trying to find SMS that would be the injured survivor. Oh, actually no, I was wrong. Jason was the survivor. Good read over here. However, Jason has light and he's playing it good. Not sure Jason is the guy you wanna chase as your second down. We've seen he's doing way too good in chases. Now gets the first hit. Going into Shack, I'm not even sure Shack pallet has been used yet.
That's not how you break pallets.
That's not how you break pallets. Yeah, that is correct, Matis.
¿Te imaginas que romper pallets así con un M1? Sería brutal.
We see the pickup. And that's how you break pallets.
He thought he had the Legion pin on Freddy.
Correct. Jason getting scared of this bit of that pallet and he decides to die as much as possible.
Mira el motor, está ya un cuarto, madre mía. El motor estaba casi hecho y adiós, a tomar por culo el motor.
Dead.
Yeah.
Ya está, 4K, chicos.
Jen is dead.
Yeah, Nightlight's got ample time now to go for the pickup, and he successfully managed to win this war of attrition. He's bled out Team Sinos, uprooted what they were trying to plant, and it's really sad to see because they looked phenomenal in that artist set. But yeah, now we're on home turf for Invictus, considering this is their pick. And again, last time we saw Freddy, or Invictus on Freddy, They did 4K1, and then on the rematch on the Survivor side, Invictus 4-outed. So that doesn't bode too well, I want to say.
Muy buen vídeo, Mikey.
Do you think this is just going to end up in a 4K1 as it's looking?
Yeah, I think so. I decides to pick up pallet, but to get standoff,
Pues ahí la he
is
visto.
letting the sacrifice happen. Probably he will, and then we're gonna have a pallet, not pallet, but
Ah,
a
ya
gate
está.
standoff.
No lo había visto, lo he escuchado.
No, never mind. Nyland manages to find SMS. He actually managed to hint at him, and that's gonna be the fake on the window.
Their
Pues
late
estaría.
matchup ready.
Pues 4K, buenísimo, muy bien jugado por Nelly, la verdad. Ha jugado súper bien. Temas mecánicos. Vale, siguiente 2.42. Lo tiene difícil, la verdad. Jason.
I'm saying that we Jason has.
Jason con Ruina. Ruina me gusta mucho con Jason, la verdad. Carnicero, candado y cogida nefasta. Yo siempre digo que no recomiendo nunca llevar dos perks de bloquear al unísono, ¿vale? Porque se pueden juntar. En plan, ponerle, por ejemplo, que hacen los repentes un motor. Se te pone un motor con candado. Y justo tú haces cuelgue. A coger nefasta funcionaría en ese caso. Pues digamos, estás perdiendo segundos de bloqueo de motores. Y por eso elegiría o una u otra. Pero las dos a la vez creo que es un error.
High chances he's gonna do his win con.
Carnicero muy buena y Ruina muy buena. Estas dos personas muy buenas.
Absolutely,
Con el Freddy.
he means business. Wow, there's a
Yo hubiese puesto brutalidad veloz, en vez de, por ejemplo, candado, brutalidad veloz. Le vendría bien.
reason they call him Big Wee in the North Americas. Wow, what is that build? I have not seen
O gancho gelante.
anything remotely close in Season 10 so far. We've got Deadlock, Ruin, Grim Embrace, and Sloppy. I'm pretty sure someone took to heart what we both just said about him, how he has to play a fantastic macro game, and all of those 4 perks speak for themselves, really. They bode or they rely on the killer being super dynamic and all over. And I'm super curious and hyped about what Jason has in store for us here today. Does find Dan very early, much earlier than he himself was found on Survivor in the
Por poco, muy bien aquí. Dan.
previous game. Dan, of course, will be able to get that fast foot, and Jason swings at nothing. Still waiting for his TP to come back. He wanted to get on top of main building there, I feel like. Dan is in Dream State now, so... Oh no, finds Pedro this time, and I don't think the slowdown is going to suffice. No, it will suffice even. Gets
No da tiempo a saltar, ¿vale? Porque estaba entorpecido.
that first hit onto Pedro, and funny or ironically enough, that's also the first, that's also the tile where Jason was first hit on in the previous trial.
That is a very good point. And now we can also
Aquí cuidado con los de frentes, como siempre.
see Pedro is going with the chase on main. Main is probably the strong. Yeah, actually, there is undisputed. Main is the strongest
Yeah.
texture. There is the strongest location to chase onto this map. Jason is aware of that. He doesn't want to make the mistake to commit to it. He's going to commit instead onto Dan. Dan, the man that is holding the check spot like a brave man. Now going for the predict with the slow down. Dan
Esto debe de hablar, está roto, ¿eh?
doesn't necessarily get the predict, and now Dan gets away with it. However, it seems like the
Bueno, roto. Está muy fuerte, mejor dicho.
wall is broken, so there could be a potential hit. Dan is very patient with the vaulting, however, Jason manages to get a hit right onto him and gets the first tag. First Jetro being popped, Pedro doesn't got his reset, Pedro didn't get his
Que oye, que se te funciona el candado y luego coger nefasta, eso está perfecto, ¿eh? Si haces que las dos funcionen al unísono.
reset so far. Dan dropping shot to left, which is making the first actually chase lasting way more than expected.
Yeah, he hasn't got it down yet, and a gen already flies. Might be also because of the very peculiar choice he's made surrounding add-ons. Because we see the Z block being played, and I don't think we've seen that yet. Which is going to give him aura reveal every time he hits a survivor with a snare or pallet for 3 seconds
Ya
thereafter.
está. Está ahí.
And we have seen that when Jason tries to
Creo que le ha dado por tirar el palé, fijaos lo que os digo, ¿eh? Creo que si no tira el palé no le da. Está un pelín lejos.
tries to
Pues que la garra de Freddy está muy fuerte, es muy larga.
play around it on the team.
Hay que cortar un poquito las uñitas al Freddy.
Nah. Can't hold back my laughter in situations like that, because how did that hit? You know, it always reminds me when hits like that, or makes me think of like almost like a chemical reaction. Whenever you see someone gets hit after that exact pallet drop, it feels like you've got two electrical outlets on either side, and then you just pour like water in the middle, and all of a sudden, like it connects, right? That's what it feels like. There's like a static shockwave going over the pallet and hitting Dan, and that's what caused him to go down there. But yeah, he's finally racking up some more pressure, and the unicorn block does make sense. No, honestly, I didn't pay attention to the previous games add-ons, but unicorn block is definitely a popular choice to make, which is going to make the dream pallet
Y me tiran los poderes, se los tiran perfectos, tío.
radius slightly larger by 0.5 meters.
Muy bien aquí, Pedro.
Like that aggressive swing there through the
¿Quién me lupea este chico,
pallet. Pedro red at this time, though, and immediately just skips to the next tile. Will be affected by another slowdown. Jason did not change strategy there. Was hoping that Pedro might change his mind, do something different. Sees the double blind there.
Doble cegada, claro. Como digamos que cuando tú metes la linterna, el killer, tienes que cargarle como una especie de barra imaginaria para cegarle. Y claro, le había cargado mucha, pero no al 100%, le había cargado al 80, 85%. Y justo en esa última cegada, pum, 100%. Brutal, Pedro. Tiene que hacer... Bueno, aquí cagada. aquí se va a llevar.
Blind. Only OGs will understand the reference there. 72 hours.
Ah, pues no. Vale, tenía que liar.
Wondering. But yeah, he's buying a lot of time, and despite that deadlock, we're already looking at the second generator popping very soon. Another already past 60%, and we still have a deadlock gen lurking somewhere.
Pedro trying to get the chase onto main. It seems like Jason decided to stop
Muy bien, Pedro. Este chico juega súper.
committing.
Una
Main is
idea.
too difficult to
Una
chase.
idea,
Pedro was doing a very good job. And also, what is very interesting is that Team Invictus managed to get way later down, a first down in the game. Their down happened at 2:45 minutes.
Yep.
On the other side, Team Steelers got a minute, got their down into 2 minutes, but it was only with Jason that chased. He chased from the beginning to the end, and he lasted 2 minutes. That was very impressive. However, right now on the killer, it looks
Uf, aquí hay tres supervivientes aquí. Cuidado,
like Team
Tres heridos, de hecho.
Invictus is actually applying some pressure into him. Another generator being popped. Doesn't. He only has one hook stage. Doesn't quite get the hit over there. Dan is once again in the chase, probably for
Adiós,
the fifth
adiós.
time, and
Un loop muy cortito.
gets that hit.
Le das una vuelta como muchísimo.
Beautiful.
No, looked like a clown card hook there. Like all of a sudden, 3 survivors appeared of Invictus. You know, they did get 2 gens pop flying now. At the same time, Jason probably would love to have more status than he currently does. He needs to get that elimination on Dan by the time 2 more gens pop if he wants to tie this. He needs the kill now if he still wants to win, which honestly wouldn't be too unrealistic. He's currently keeping 2 survivors occupied.
Aquí tiene que romper un palete, porque si no te va a hacer el circuito constantemente.
One being down on the hook, and 2 Pedro, potential saver as he is nearby. I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, Kex is most likely going to be nearby as well. Might be playing it safe too. He's got spits on the generator, making sure that tie condition at least will be met soon.
Aprovecha, vale, para rescatar a Dan, pero Pedro va a los otros.
But again, they would need another 2 generators, and the trade here is really important for Jason,
Muy cuidado con el tema de motores, ¿eh?
especially with the Metal of Man stacking up as well. Hopefully we'll get to see that later on, because we have actually seen it a couple times already.
That would be really beautiful to see this team as well. We have Deadlock and Grim Entrance going on right now, trying to get a hit onto Dan, which is the tunnel out. Oh my god, what is that body block? Kexo, no, not Kexo, Speed's trying to...
¿Por qué poco, tú? Que casi la lían. Por protegerse casi la lían. Esto a mí me ha pasado jugando en Premade muchísimo. Que quieres proteger y la acabas cagando.
Done, and now he actually gets the body block on right. Honestly, to be fair, right now it looks a little bit dangerous for Team Invictus, because this, if Jason would be able to do a 4K2, this is the moment when he will actually do it. Dan is getting chased, he's the tunnel out, Pedro's going to catch on the generator.
Esto de que no puedas hacer fast bolt está muy fuerte.
Goes down, and Spitz is doing nothing for now, existing.
Cuidado, todos heridos, 2 en el suelo, mucho cuidado.
Trying maybe to get a pull on to Pedro.
Hear him. Okay. Yeah, you heard him.
He heard him, Kex is now in chase, and Pedro
No, Jason, qué cagada, por Dios.
was pulled. Jason
Imagine.
swings for that, trying to bend over the pallet, but barely scratches Kexo, and he doesn't connect. Now we're gonna pick up Dan. We're gonna capitalize with our survivor, and we still got 3 survivors in the game. They are injured. I think they are resetting right now. Yeah, Pedro got resetted, probably Spitz as well. Matis, do you think it's still possible for Team Invictus to win?
It's definitely getting more difficult. I was gonna, I was expecting
Hostia,
you to ask
a los dos, tú, qué
if
locura.
it's gonna be possible for Jason to win now, because I feel like if he had got Kexo there, hadn't got stunned there, I feel like that could have actually been a 4K2. Now getting Spitz is going to be difficult.
Aquí estás muy jodido.
Because he has the pallet. Actually, no. Because he does go down here quickly. I
La mayoría de los paneles de este mapa son regulares.
honestly thought he was going to try to run for Shaq and even potentially even make it. Because he did have that pretty promising setup. Gets another fresh hook, so that will be more Grim Embrace. I feel like if he manages to get his 4th Grim Embrace stack before the next generator pops, this could be a 4K2. And I really want to see... I know people are going to say it's boring if it's a tie, but we haven't seen one yet. And I really would love to see the best of 4 format paying off and actually seeing a 2-2. Because again, we haven't seen that yet, and it would also look really cool on the stats. And it would be a very well-deserved point for Sinners, especially after that artist set. Jace is putting his art out. It's so difficult to now that they're getting these resets too. But I want to try to believe in him.
No llegas.
Same over here, we get the first hit on the Spitz. Spitz is the last stack of Grim Embrace. Also, what I would like to point out is Ruin being still active in a 3v1 situation. Usually 3v1 situations are very difficult with Ruin, and on top of that you have Grim Embrace. Jason is definitely able to do this win condition. Apparently I was wrong. Kexo is the last stack of Grim Embrace. Thank you for correcting me, Toby.
There he is.
Yeah. And now we are on face with Kexo, the wanted survivor. He goes.
Es que si quieres estar en este lado es muy cortito, te hace un poquito de endgame y te hace el culo. O sea, en otro lado, si él quiere estar en otro lado es mejor para su superioridad.
Down. Pedro is resetting speeds. This is the clutch. This is the moment what we want to see. Matis, how do you think they will handle this? Because you definitely have to handle it somehow.
Oh dude, this is getting so difficult. I love Grim Embrace. I'm so happy this is paying off now. Because Grim Embrace is essentially the anti-tunnel perk. Forces you to get individual stages. Otherwise the perk is not going to do anything. Now, you know, I'm so glad I have you here because I completely forgot about Rune as well. I love that he's got 2
Yo ya no poderes, no es nada fácil.
perks that regress progress on both of the most important survivor actions, being healing and doing gens. So yeah, Sloppy and Rune might actually be enough, and that Grim Embrace also is putting such a dent because right now, Jason is basically operating on extra borrowed time because he's got a full whole minute to just commit to chases. There's no downside to doing this because the survivors are one is forced to be in chase, the other is forced to unhook now. But also potentially hesitate a bit on the unhook because they don't want him to get tunneled out. Or he's actually just gonna go for the trade here. I'm not sure if
La partida va a estar muy igualada, chicos.
that's the smartest decision. Because that's just an extra stage for Jason. And he could even, yeah, if he wants to, he's actually gonna TP, right?
No sé por qué se ha ido.
Back to Spitz, he wants to intercept the generator.
La verdad, a ver,
Spitz
no está mal hecho, pero no sé, yo habría ido por Kexo,
only has this filler here. How many 50s can he win is the question now. None because because the speed is reduced too much. 2 people down, he knows where the other
No están dormidos, así que por ahí no puede teleportarse.
2 are resetting.
Ni se os ocurra, obviamente si estáis dormidos tú o el compañero, curaros. Ni se os ocurra. O sea, estáis dándole al killer un TP gratis hacia vosotros.
Well, not necessarily resetting. Pedro was getting picked off the ground, which makes no distance almost for them. There is the pallet over here drop that they can probably play to do 50s, however it's difficult because of the ping.
This alarm
With
clock.
Jason going for the hit that doesn't necessarily hit Pedro.
¿Por qué he saltado rápido? Ah, vale, que me he estado dormido.
Getting the distance very beautiful, using life, trying to also get a good chase. Kexo is picking up his teammate, and now with Team Invictus actually got the pressure off. There is no more Grim Embrace, there is no more down survivor. However, everybody's injured and you still have Ruin and no progression on the gens.
Qué cagada, Jason. No te puedes comer este palet, de verdad. Y menos aún darle el lado bueno al superviviente que le das todo el main. Esto es un error muy, muy grande.
And, oh, that doesn't connect.
Claro, que menuda gigante cagada, tío.
I like that every swing we see near Paladin, you both hope for the same outcome. But yeah, that wound is carrying this game so far. If he hadn't equipped it, I feel like they would have already popped it.
Que os coméis ese pane, creo que se han dirección contraria para que de repente se queden encerrados, ¿sabes? No darle todo el mapa.
Gen by now. I don't understand why WeJace is not just hooking. He has so much time and he's getting nothing from slugging at the moment. Yeah, it looks good on paper. You've got one survivor incapacitated essentially on the ground. But if he was just going for stages, then I feel like he would have progressed this game much better for himself.
Muy bien ese endgame hacia atrás, recortando la luz, muy bien aquí que sos.
Oh, the medium! Oh, the fake out! Nah, Kexo.
This is huge. This is huge. Now we just get the pressure back, and now he's trying to find any of the servers that he might be able to
No
down.
pressure.
Nobody. There is pressure. Not even think. Also, I'm just thinking. Can you imagine how much pressure Jason has now onto his shoulders? He cannot even.
La ruina está ayudando muchísimo, muchísimo.
Probably
La ruina a mí me encanta la ruina.
cannot even think
La van a bufar.
straight. Ooh, that was a
the
beautiful
Z-block, the
double
Z-block.
back. Z-block. What is he doing? He was trying the.
Spitz is waiting for.
yeah. They are experienced players. We don't expect anything else from.
Me palets al suelo.
Now we go to the pallet.
¿Qué ping tiene Kickshot, tío? O sea, Spitz, perdón.
No, that doesn't
¿Qué pedazo de ping?
connect. How that doesn't connect? Spitz, the 12 MS player, makes even
Ya está,
South
vale.
America look bad, and now he plays that very.
Brutal Spitz,
He forces with Jason to break
Dios
the
mío.
pallet and goes back to the bottom side. He was trying to
Ah, ya no puedo hacer una mierda, obviamente.
jiggy to juke a little bit, however, did not
Please hook.
ended up with-
No.
Yes, this was the moment when you're supposed to hook.
¿Veis? Estaba dormido, pues, ala, te pegates.
Oh, he TP'd on the reset though. I feel like he was trying to take advantage of that. Yeah. Because Pedro was still in dream state, so he just TP'd right on top of them, trying to get value from that. I'm gonna say, okay, we just made the right call there, because that was definitely smarter to do, to just TP straight on the heel.
Hostia, tira muchos impuros al palete, o sea, se lo está jugando muchísimo y eso.
He swings through that. Normally you can just hit people over the fence, which we somehow also didn't see in the previous game. Now he's got everybody injured again with Sloppy. Ruin's already put all the dits to 0 again. And Spitz is still on the ground. Please pick him. Hook him. He's got 2 people in until the very end.
Doing build up game.
Al
But
sótano.
Jason did the right decision over here into picking. We have another survivor over here injured in chase. It's true that it's next to main, however, being injured and in chase while the other one is hooked doesn't bring too much of value. Trying to mind game the main. Pedro is way too smart to get mind gamed on main. We Jason is a little bit scared and skeptical about generators being progressed. He gotta go and check it. Make sure that there is 0 progress on your generators. That way you can commit to survivors and he manages to keep of course, and that would be the down. Now Pedro only able to do anything to
There's
save
no
this.
way.
Oh, he's in fact in basement. Matis, we're still going on.
Slips, this is looking like a 4K on 2, and that is completely unheard of.
Pues partidaza,
Brutal.
¿no?
Did you have a look at the gen split? They're completely opposite sides of the map here, like the ones that are yet to be
Con este resultado gana Invictus.
repaired. Of course, there's going to be more generators on the map.
No, porque Sinners han hecho 4 motores y Invictus van a hacer 3 motores.
All of Freddy's chances to TP to. But the split is fantastic. Nice spin attempt. But it doesn't matter against Freddy because, again, he can just teleport from one side of the map to the other in the blink of an eye. He's got fantastic mobility. They buffed this behavior, buffed this killer super well. He's so much fun to watch. And this right here seems to be the last chase. And we are actually looking at Invictus not winning, but also not losing a matchup. Wow.
Will be working 34 stages to
That we Jason has
14
become
Brutal, pues brutal, sí, es la verdad. 2-2, pero hay una cosa que no me cuadra.
nightmare himself. So
Sinners, since Sinners.
Pensé que ganaba Invictus porque ya no hay más partidos, chicos. Mirad, ya cambia a otro partido. Pues empate, supongo se van un punto cada uno. Quiero pensar, porque el siguiente partido, mirad, ya ha acabado. Pim, pim, pim. Y ahora juega No creo contra Oracle, que será el siguiente vídeo. No sé, pues se habrán dado, me imagino, un punto a cada uno. O sea, será... no es el mejor de tres. Se juegan tantas partidas y chipum, pues 2-2, un punto para cada uno. Oye, pues muy buena partida, de Jason, muy buena partida. Quitando los paredes que se ha comido, que ha sido mucha tela. Papeles supervivientes. Podrían haberlo jugado un poquito mejor, pero vamos, ha jugado muy bien, quitando los errores esos mecánicos que ha tenido. Pues nada, un 2-2 sorprendente, la verdad. Yo pensé que iba a ganar Invictus, sinceramente. Si iba a ganar Invictus en plan fácil y sencillo para toda la familia, pero bueno, un 2-2 ahí para un puntito para cada uno, me imagino. Así que está muy bien. Pues nada, el miércoles habrá vídeo de la movilidad en principio, ¿vale? Y el viernes habrá el siguiente partido de la DBDLEAGUE, que va a ser, yo digo, va a ser el siguiente, Nocron, que es el equipo de los españoles, contra Oracle, ¿vale? Así que nada. Muchas gracias por haber visto el videito, decirme que os han parecido las partiditas y nada, nos vemos el miércoles con el verdadero nivel del DVD. ¡Mua! Chao, chao.